item for all Salon people and them party them. Sarah Gem Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports, and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy, and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Beberebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the president's hour and the Gladi program. Look me, I look you. All this they start soon na www.sarahgemmedia.org. Now who's tem these?
When I was young, a lot of things were different. Unfortunately, most of the differences seen now are heartbreaking and are not good at all.
Before now, men were strong protectors of the weak, fathers, brothers, lovers, sons. Their mere presence guaranteed the safety of women and children.
But what do we do now?
Men harassing and raping women.
Men sexually abuse little girls.
Men battering and killing their wives.
Any form of sexual assault, be it rape, sexual abuse, or pedophilia, is a killer to human self-esteem.
Women should stop dying in silence.
Speak now.
The rapist should be stigmatized, not the victim.
I think death sentence should be the consequence of such terrible act.
And you mothers, build confidence in your children, put trust in them, listen to them when they make reports, and take necessary actions.
Talking of mothers before now, women were virtuous.
They were mothers, daughters, and sisters.
Nurturing, counseling, supporting their men folks.
But now,
Women are trafficking female children for money.
women are forced to be silenced.
All this must stop, and it must stop now.
Real men do not abuse, rape, or molest women and children.
It is barbaric, unacceptable. Let all real men stand with us.
Together, let's say an emphatic no to rape, sexual abuse, pedophilia, and domestic violence.
The total population of Sierra Leone in 2019 was stated approximately at 7.8 million. And the most common cancer reported in 2018 was breast cancer, with an incidence rate of 25.1% and a mortality rate of 19.2%. Ward 2 at the Connaught Hospital, Freetown, is a female surgical ward that cares for patients requiring breast surgery, chemotherapy, and palliative care. General surgery also admits to the ward as see fit. The ward is in need of a significant refurbishment and has a major impact on patient assessment and delivery of treatment, dignity, comfort, and infection control measures. The current ward area presents a significant challenge to infection control. There is no fit for purpose or adequate personal hygiene facilities. The showers and sanitary areas are in poor condition and are difficult to clean. The flooring is deteriorated. Overall deco and fabric of the walls need repair and full decoration. Furniture, cupboards, and shelving require replacement. The sluice, known to be the dirty utility room, is in poor condition and needs replacing. Windows need to be replaced as current windows bring in draughts, dust, debris, mosquitoes, and rodents. There is no designated area to provide a day service for patients receiving chemotherapy. Medical supplies is desperately needed. Therefore, we need a total amount of £15,000, which is equivalent to 195 million pounds for this project. This project will focus on women diagnosed with breast cancer and other non-malignant breast abnormalities requiring one or more of the treatment modalities that are currently available. We will also set up a day unit for the administration of chemotherapy and provide training and development to ensure sustainability. Therefore, I am pleading to all individuals, organizations, and local businesses, and every Sierra Leonean and friends of Sierra Leone to make a meaningful contribution that will never go in vain. Ways to contribute will be seen at the end of this clip. I am Aissata Cissé Jallow of the Health Show Partnership Program. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Nina Yvonne Akisoya, and 11th May 2021 make me 3 years where I don't day in office. I say let I come and tell Fritonians them una boku boku tenki for where una elect me and when I give me this mandate for serve una. But I not just want to tell una tenki for when I elect me, I want to tell una tenki for when I don't work with me and work with the councillors, work with the staff of Freetown City Council, work with so many stakeholders, including the central government, the international partners, the local partners. I want to tell una, the Freetonians, and thank you, but I want to tell all the other groups and the Boku Boku Tenki. Together, we embark on a journey for Transform Freetown, and in nobody not been say it go easy. We published the plan in January 2019, and then in January 2020, we published our first year report, and then in January 2021, we don't publish with 2-year report. Inside the reports and day, you go able for read in much more detail, waiting we don't achieve. But family them, I still I just share today some of the things that really make me heart gladdy pan this walk here. One thing we're really glad about, now the wastewater treatment plant where we don't build na King Tom. This is not the first time ever in the history of Salone for let we get the thing they will come on the toilet. Instead of it just gonna grow na King Tom, it actually they go into a plant where they get for separate the solid from the liquid and get for treat them and waiting get for come out can go towards manure. It can now be safely the liquid can now safely be disposed into the waterways. Another practical thing we are so glad for. Now this urban farming project, we bring over 300, in fact we start with 300, now we add another 200 women them. We now at them backyard them and at in community level, particularly in deprived communities.
And you can create this, where you give, the okra they come up, they will plant them.
The women they do farming projects where go benefit them picking them for get more nutritious food, but it go also help them for get small thing at the hand as they sell them in the market. And then their nursery school. Famble then go no say we've been done open the one at Congo Water Market for make vulnerable women them and then young picking it under the age of 5 get free quality preschool care. And now we dip and build the second one. We do refurbishment upstairs in the Croton Road Market, and that facility will be open and available to women and men traders inside Croton Road Market. Tricycles. Well, then tricycle and they not only then they help for keep we city clean, they also they create employment. We don't create so far over 1,200 jobs with young people then where they go and collect dirty na the streets. And now we get 90 more where they come on stream. So I'm so happy because it increased the capacity for collect dirty. At the same time, it increased the number of people them, young people that we get work. Let not talk and not talk about the transfer station when I did the dirty then they go. So we don't get 4 additional ones, including the one at Lumley, the one at Approved School, the one at Shell, and the one at Allentown. Bele Uman them. Then they all over with community. That journey for going to PCMH, it can challenge Boko of them. So we did work for upgrade 5 of we choose them for make them be monk, side with side belle woman, the able for born. Freetown people them, Boku people that know say dog na challenge na this city. And so we don't start a program for sterilize, vaccinate the dogs them so that we go get control over dogs and we the ambog motaman, but we the ambog themselves. We go make we city healthier and it go reduce the risk for let people then get us sick with and call rabies. I don't share small about wait we don't do and over these 3 years, but I just touch the thing Boku. I go say anybody want for no more. Also go now with Facebook page. We get Freetown City Council Facebook page. We also get Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. You go able for follow we. Let we continue for work together with all we stakeholders for let collectively we transform Freetown. Una, thank you and God bless you.
Na Yvonne, Na Yvonne, talk and go, talk and come. Na Yvonne.
Hello, Fambuldem. Una good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night, depending on whose part na the world where you find yourself. Una welcome again to another edition of CRGM Media's Wednesday program. We just come out of here with a review of the African Nations Cup match. Usai, we Darling Leon Stars qualify for Go Cameroon in 2022. And of course, Sunabi Eriti Boy, and we guessed them. I think they did justice to that program. It was a wonderful program, and thank you all. For you and me, Sam, you can go back and watch the program. And obviously, the team was a technical team. We discussed a lot of technical details then, but the commonality here on that particular program, it was we're all happy for this qualification. And we once more say congratulations to Darling Leon Stars and all Sierra Leoneans we support. And we hope we will continue for the BNB team and pray and wish them success in Cameroon and hope then go fly the green, white, and blue where we all go to BNB and jubilate. May on our presenter for today's program, na Juma Ba, and for we newcomers, you're welcome, and we hope you'll have a wonderful time with us here on our YouTube as well. Where I can see most of the time when I chat them because everybody greedy for land able for see what's in the happen day on a kushe cabo, and we're happy that you are here. For our regulars and the durate now the program, we say on a thank you again on a kushe, and we hope soon I go bring more people and come. And definitely on our suggestions and, viewpoints and for help we push the program go before are always welcome. To the people where they send we messages, suggestions, we say thank you to Una. And again, we want for just apologize some of una not able to respond to una in a timely manner, or sometimes the suggestions they will not act on the right away. But I just want to promise una say every suggestion, every feedback is being discussed as part, during the production meetings them, and definitely if it did not happen today, we definitely will implement them at some point where we feel say it fits in with what they do. Today program, they can talk about something very important and reflect again. It's part of reflection, but at the same time, discuss with him for move with next generation go before. T-Boy, welcome to today's program again. And thank you for earlier. It was a good program. Tell for the people that were not being watched earlier, tell them I'll do again and, and tell what you expect for this program, what they do right now.
Hi, welcome viewers and welcome again for the second time. Well, we just done the football show. I think Sidani done, so much being said about it, and definitely we now to the other program where I believe still means so much to every African man. Today's expectation of this program is seriously about how we feel say we don't reflect from where these incidents happen. We make we celebrate this day. How we feel about ourselves as humans, as young people, as kids from Africa, which kind of value we don't put to the essence of the struggles of African child since birth to current day. So I feel that's the nature of the discussion where I feel they can get this net. And I believe say everybody's input and contribution will mean so much, not just to the program, but also to us. So definitely I look forward for this program. And I get for me because I catch up with my breath. This night the time we can suffer a lot of stress based on the fact that the pollens are rising and the sun is hot, and it gives us a struggle to be breathing regularly. I'm not asthmatic, but for some reason, sometimes I just have challenges with the pollen of I call it hay fever. So yeah, when I go for me small, because I go for the grid, they fill me breath so that I'll be able to continue the program properly. Over to you, Jima.
All right, thank you so much. We understand, and obviously, Mr. Femi Sefde with we want for let's just say hello to Fambulem. Today we'll bring on, but now one time we feel for talk. It's a close day for us as well as a family, and but it will say hello to Ona anyway.
Juma, can you hear me?
You're muted, Mr. Palmer.
Juma, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, my signature. Yes, so thank you. Wanna join me once more. It's a good day. Today is the Day of the Africa Child. We get Bokuna history of things that we happen that day. And I think Tibo and Juman can talk Bokum. For can tell some of una we might not know what's happening. But more important, we can, it's good to look back, but we can look forward to the future. But how we think we suppose for change for we future generation yet to come.
All right, thank you so much. And obviously, like Konado Yagi, we know today, June 16, we call the Day of the African Child. It's a memorable day. Possibly not happen as alone, but now a time where African solidarity been there. If something happen other side, we all feel and we all go make sure we put we on. South Africa, for to be precise, we know South Africa been under the apartheid system for a long period of time, and for South Africa come out under the apartheid system, they and able to be the rainbow nation that it is today. It was through the help of so many other African countries, and we support them, just like how we said we get with you war, tell me each we've been get for go Liberia, we've been get for go Guinea, some people relocate permanently, then they Gambia now, and so on and so forth. And we get other countries they've been come to aid. It was the same with South Africa at that particular time. But the people that we suffer most were kids. Kids were massacred just because they team up for ask for waiting them want as African picking them. And the key thing was education. So then team up for ask this kind of education they want and how they want for let them, communicate that education day to them. But at the end of the day, waiting happen. People that we feel get power, we able for make decision for the picking the way now them feel say they know waiting the picking they want say nope. We'll shoot on all and we call them. So that bloodbath day, all that thing, then they come for mark which we know as the African child, the day of the African child for reflect and not necessarily celebrate, but for reflect. Say if it happen here, it can happen on the other side. The theme for this year, because the African Union obviously then said adopt this and all that thing and they. So the theme for this year then say 30 years after the adoption of the Charter, accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2040 for an Africa fit for children. So them organization, they always can put agenda. They just like how you get the, we get the Millennium Development Goals, then don't pass, now we get the Sustainable Goals. So this is not the one way, after they adopt the African Charter, then say, okay, them get in 2040 agenda, but now they want for accelerate and for put more power, like where they drive your motor car, they go uphill, you dey gear one, see they go slow. So you not get for reach your destination quick. But now they want for accelerate. Vroom. You see how they drive right now. So then go make sure say they reach and that means say they therefore put picking their business and that agenda there as a premium. Where we just left na paper, take 2040 reach, they not achieve most of them things, then they go back. So the one thing will catch me on the theme implementation of Agenda 2040 for an Africa fit for children. And in as much as we discuss on the bigger scale, but we'll bring and come home the implementing an agenda that is fit for Africa children. Implementing an agenda that is fit for Sierra Leone children. We feel say that agenda the way they right now, or the whole country they right now, or the way the continent they fit for where Africa picking them. Well, if I reach here, I will bring T-Boy coming with an opening, and because I'm not saying about cool for say about this issue today. They will open the banter, and your questions, comments are all welcome to this conversation. Over to you, T-Boy.
Well, a good way you mention, that way, say the agenda now for fast track the benefit of African kids for benefits and make sure say, is it the Millennium Development Goal for accelerate, right? So that form of acceleration, the agenda we then don't say, but why make always now the West that sets the agenda for make Africa develop?
No, this one not to the West. Now the Africa Union. They got the Africa
AU, the African Union. Okay, yeah. So this is now the Africa Union. Now they set up their own target line now. So basically, it means the Africa Union they use their own facilities, their own access, their own influence, their own finance, and their own support for make sure that we achieve this, which is good because it means it's not going to be dictated by none other than us ourselves. So it's now about time for Africans to start telling their own story. It's now about time for Africans to start making their own developmental strides. Then we could be very significant because we already know what's in our needs. So for the fact that we know we need, we go for tailor the needs that we feel to say we need for attend to as soon as possible. So yeah, I totally agree with that structure there. And I feel that structure there will get a lot of influence based on the fact that we take our cases very seriously and we're not just saying these things just because we want to be politically correct. But like clearly what you say, make a reference to Usa Okomo in a salon. Is this Sierra Leone that we want for our kids? we will try for change and fast track this particular agenda for make sure say African child gets the best of voting and deserve within the century where they come into so now.
Right.
So that's another serious question we'll go for looking to.
Right. So whilst you say that, very interesting because we don't discuss a lot of, conversation that we can get on this platform and issues that we discuss. At the end of the day, either picking them involved or comrade them involved, woman them involved. And some of the things that we do today get the potential for affect we picking them negatively. This now they talk about Sierra Leone specific. So the Agenda 2040, T-Boy, I go read for you waiting at the aspirations them day, okay? Then get 10 aspirations and very interesting. And I just want to remind reviewers them say Sierra Leone been done adopt the charter. So we suppose for domesticate them if we not been done do it, the African Charter itself. So that means by extension, this agenda, we for embrace them and make sure say we mainstream them and, in any program, activities, project they will they do it concerning picking them from education, to anything we did think about. We get for affect picking them directly or indirectly, we get for make sure say we aspire for achieve part of this agenda. But my question is, if apart from just adopting it or for reading a paper, we actually working towards that. Because I see today there was a program, of course, I don't watch the program, but I saw the flyer wherein the Minister for Children Affairs, the Attorney General, as well as another, individual, UNICEF representative, then we get a program where they discuss this specifically. But the question is it only going to happen lip service from one African child to another, or we actually they put them into practice for make sure so we achieve certain things them? If not small self we achieve every year, say 2040, we will achieve a lot for the beginning because the aspirations, like I say, T-Boy, in about 10 here. So let's go. The first one says the African Children's Charter, as supervised by the African Children's Committee, provides an effective continental framework for advancing children's rights. So that means, say, not just for put on, but again for be really, really effective, a framework where all man go work towards in advancing children's rights. And children's rights, now human rights as well. So they are human rights, we therefore make sure say everything way they under the human rights and plus more for the under this. So you say T-Boy where I say we all get everything where they affect Pekin directly or indirectly. The second aspiration, according to the Agenda 2040, is an effective child-friendly national legislative policy and institutional framework is in place to all member states. Okay? So don't say again, the laws them, the policies them, the programs them, all they put in place. Now that the aspiration that's for this agenda. And aspiration 3, every child's birth and other vital statistics are registered. Come back to the same talk about data collection, because if you not get actual data, reliable data, quality data, you will not be able to cater for the particular demographic, in this case, the picking them, Then aspiration 4 is say every child survives and has a healthy childhood. A healthy childhood. Do we have the environment? Do we have the things in place in Sierra Leone specifically for ensure so we picking them will survive now a healthy picking them, then we'll get a healthy childhood, where then we'll get 3 meals a day, they will get water supply, they're not gonna come out hospital blood no day, they're not gonna come out hospital where their mama go for go burn them first and get for struggle for blood and water. All of those things. So you see, it opened the conversation, for healthy childhood. Then go in an environment where them parents are not they under too much trauma, where then go begin to beat them. You, like papa fever. You, like mama na in bad luck. They can't say beat them boom bam ball and can't say, picking the within at 3 to then get for the cent for go sell T-boy, I hope you take notes. Yeah, so 5, the aspiration 5, say every child grows up well nourished and with access to the basic necessities of life. Yeah, I talked earlier, the basic needs, 3 meals a day. Nourishment, so picking a normal nourish, how can say them feedback kwashioko and all of them kind of things. What they cause that? So the aspiration 6 say every child benefits fully from quality education. Okay, we get free quality, we get a program, we say na free quality education. So education is free and a quality education. And aspiration 7 say every child is protected against violence, exploitation, neglect, and abuse. So, and again says it all. No need for explain that any better. We know. Let ask yourself question. Let put on we thinking cap them. Let we search results the where they do programs then for picking them specifically, where they provide services the way geared towards picking them. Search your conscience, what they do now for the benefit of the picking them. Then aspiration 8 say children benefit from a child-sensitive criminal system. Okay, you picking them. They go to take the number, go to it and a Pademba road with hardened criminals, or go look at a CID just because we meet them at 3, then they sleep in a market stable, none of them whereabouts and all of those things, or we left them there for perish and die, all of those things. So, and ask yourself a question in the process, if now you picking now that kind childhood day you want for them. Aspiration 9, every child is free from the impact of armed conflict and other disasters or emergency situations. We talked about it. We saw what happened in Susan's Bay. We see what's in the happen now. Do we have situations that are happening where it's getting with peace and security, where get the potential for, pose risk to picking their well-being? Remember the mudslide will happen up yonder. How many picking their loss or will die? The Black Johnson situation, is that going to cause a major disaster, emergency, environmental disaster? We will affect to picking them by. Then aspiration 10 say African children's views matter. If the big one they not get freedom of speech, is there any guarantee or hope say we picking them viewpoint they matter? We picking them get right for ask questions? So these are the 10 aspirations, T-Boy, for Agenda 2040, where this Africa, where they say they want for accelerate. So over to you, Lairi, comment so far, and then we go continue the program. And then after that, they will turn out to real life situation them, you know what I mean? Law not just talk on a paper, law talk how it happen, now they gone.
I think this is closely related to the Sierra Leone agenda, if I go say so, because I think every aspect of this agenda gets a very close tie to us Sierra Leoneans and to that Salon Peking. So not something really new to we at all. And I feel the reason we make the AU look at this 10 agenda now because they possibly don't do extensive research maybe over the years for collect enough data, one of the elements of the 10 sections, we make them feel say these are the main criteria, primary criteria for an African child to have a stable and developed environment to become a better adult. I will jot down, make some comments on a few of the one the way you highlight, where I feel say are of importance. All of them are of importance, definitely, but there are a few where it gets concerns, one of which will be the data collection. Again, I make a direct reference to the way how Salon models stay right now for what we know or what we possibly hear or see. Data collection in Sierra Leone seems to be one of the most spoken about because they say they encounter somebody who specifically gets knowledge in database collection when are the Minister of Lower, junior or secondary school, David Sembe, with knowledge of data or technology or whatever it might be, then they talk a couple of years ago, say salon, don't computerize. Just within a year or two, we are boasting to say salon don't computerize, which means there is a collection, database collection of all schools in Sierra Leone. I'm like, hello, and if I can go on the Ministry of Education website, I'll be able to foresee, say, up to the amount of primary, secondary school, nursery, the amount of taking away to go school day, the amount of toilets, the amount of classroom, the amount of desk. I challenge it, and I said to them, it is definitely practically not possible. So I don't know where that database comes from, but that database shouldn't have been collected within a year's time, because the logistics alone for collect that database, I don't think Sierra Leoneans were trained in the first place. For me, they say we don't collect such amount of database. I don't think they say the mindset of Sierra Leoneans was in the right frame at that particular time where they say this database, they don't collect them. So basically, we have an assumption of database collection where we feel say yes a day by possibly bird's eye view, or by possibly just sending technology for go make an evaluation where the evaluation of the technology will possibly use not even being rectified properly or not even being managed properly by the people the way they actually manage them. So I challenge that database to the extent that I click on the website. Unfortunately, at that point in time, the website was not functioning. So that's actually just make I just cease any further discussion with the people that will be able to get that debate with at that particular point in time. So yes, database is a serious concern. Again, there is a lot of issue around database collection based on the fact that the census is another saga where database gets a lot for do it. So with database specifics on this particular agenda, so the African child, for make the African child go get stable and developed environment, it means a lot. If we cannot control or if we cannot put together the correct database of some of the things else we will talk about specifically for kids, then we won't be able to get it right. Because some of these database collection make direct reference to births and deaths. How do we register births and deaths in Sierra Leone? How do we register kids that were born or that are born in the remote parts of the country? How do they register those births? For me, they know for say 50 Pekin are born today, na Karina. 10 of those 50 kids were boys, 40 of them were girls. 10 of those 50 kids were born in the morning, and 20 was born in the afternoon, and 10 was born late at night. So these are some of the statistics that we are talking about when we talk about database collection for kids. So if we cannot actually put down the proper logistics for make all them also be registered on time, in real time as it is happening, then we possibly not be able to meet one of those agendas as Sierra Leoneans, because again, like I say, we they make reference to the agenda and how it fits into our own criteria as Sierra Leoneans. The next one I will go to is basic registration, necessity for life. Basic necessity for life. What does that mean? What is the basic
livelihood of childhood or something?
Well, I'm looking at what is the basic necessity for a child in Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. How do we measure what is the basic necessity for a child? Make reference now to for a child in Sierra Leone. Because I think the basic necessity for a child, it depends on or at the particular region we're talking about, because it might not be the same in other countries than we talk about right now. Because the basic necessity for developed African countries like Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Mali, Senegal is not the same as Guinea, Gambia, Liberia, and the others. So are we following one pattern, or the pattern depends on the country that you're from in terms of regulating this particular agenda? We say the basic necessity for life of a child, how important that particular segment is, and how do we measure what are the basic necessity for a child to grow and develop within an environment as an African child. That again needs to be elaborated a bit more. because the dynamics of the geographical location of all African countries and development in all African countries is not the same as others. So we have to look at that into possibly more deeper into how we go able to regulate that. Quality education, another interesting one. The reason why I make us say quality education is quite interesting is the fact that we are already on an agenda of quality and free education. Right, my target now to this comes in two different variations. One, is the current government in awareness of the quality education based on the fact that these are some of the Millennium Challenging Goals that AU is going to put in place. That's why they use it as a benchmark to capitalize on. I don't know, I'm just saying. But secondly, is it like they just got this at the back of their mind to say, this is going to be our drive for bring or effect change in Sierra Leone. So if we use quality and free education, it is one of the most powerful tools that will develop a nation, which is good. But are we actually practicing the quality and free education that we so speak of in Sierra Leone? That's in our other question, in our other different program, Danny, because if we still delve into them, I think we'll go there so forever. But these are some of the concerns that we need to start to look at for able to understand, say, how we are going with some of these agendas and how some of these 10 millennium agendas then will affect Sierra Leone, or how it will help for increase the capacity of already voting government on put in place for make sure, say, they reach some of the demands there. So protection against violence and abuse. Well, we all know the Pekin and Asalon are one of the most primary targets of abuse in Sierra Leone. That everybody know, say, Pekin them. Now one of the most primary targets of all forms of abuse, be it physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and even at worst, financial, because they're using them for financial gains. Again, parents subconsciously are doing it to their kids because the kids are being used to go and fetch and bring money back home as young as they are. So basically, are we protecting our kids enough? Are we giving them enough protection against any form of this type of abuses that they are already undergoing? We've seen cases of kids being abused in Sierra Leone that led to some of their death. Some of them have been tortured for life. Some of them have been scared for life. Some of them will not possibly have a normal life anymore. But has justice been prevailed to secure them? Do we have justice for some of those kids that we already know have gone through such form of drastic and dangerous abuse? Let's think about it before we actually start to put things into context, because if we don't, I think we are falling into the wrong arms of voting the agenda they actually talk about. So one of which we have protection against violence and abuse towards children, which is one of the most common factor in Sierra Leone. Primarily, kids are the most targeted. Now, child safety, again, is the same. Child safety and crucial communication. Again, we have to look into that, because all land they come under the child protection against violence and abuse, because if the child is not in any safe environment, definitely that child is going to be prone to a lot of abuse. Like you mentioned, say, the Susan's Bay incident is an also element of child safety. That's now one. We look at the mudslide, that's another one. Now we look at Ebola, that's another one. Many kids died. But again, the actual statistics of children that died during Ebola is possibly not being disclosed or discussed, because we just look at the adults, they will die. But the amount of taking pictures they will see doing Ebola as speaking, they will don't die. It's so plenty. And most times, the Pekin and they die, and then the parents follow. But the records of the kids possibly was not taken much into consideration, because when Pekin die, then they see and say, well, small Pekin, the amount of gravity where it gets is less than when an adult die. So basically, I would say the amount of safety and crucial communication skills around kids hasn't been met so far within the Sierra Leonean context. So we therefore look at them again carefully of how we protect Pekin from that kind of thing, also because kids are always living in congested environments. So whatever happens, they are the last to possibly seek refuge because they're not physically strong, they're not physically fit. They're not able to know their way around for me and go find themselves places that will be of safety for them because the adults then they run first. And then the members say, oh, me picking this and that. But in fail for realize, say, they don't come on at all, they don't make themselves safe, and let the begin be end. So kids suffer the most when it comes to environmental safety. And environmental safety, now one of the biggest issues that we don't get national right now, where they cause so much disaster to the environment and to the people where they live in the environment. And like I mentioned, the Susan's Bay, we don't know how toxic is that environment going to be in terms of the development when they claim for saying the care good. We don't know how it get for affects young people. Then we don't know how it get for affects.
T-Boy, can I hold you a little bit there? I just want to, sorry for breaking your train of thought. I just see Usman, they say, the line they break. Let me just check here. Usman, thank you so much from Scotland, Glasgow, Scotland, for watching. Let me try for monitor quickly and see if there is any break in transmission here. All right, to make very clear, so Tibo will have to check his own listening device and, connection. But I think where you give me say the talk was a lot clearer. Okay, yeah, but thank you, Tibo. You touch on salient points them and things that we very practical and thank you, Tibo. You touch again. Sorry, would I get feedback from Una and there?
Yeah,
if you can mute.
I was just trying to make sure that I'm clear as well. Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so you touch on things, and like I say, this practical side of things, and when they talk about free quality education, like how you say, and I like when you bring that point. Remember earlier I talk say, is this just gonna be things on paper or not things that will actually they practice and really push for make sure say we picking them, we prepare a platform for we kids them, every day, a safe place, a safe environment, a quality service delivery for them, for make sure say they go as picking their way for takeover from we. And again, you talk about the safety, the abuse, and all of those things for, the kids out there. At the time for now, I'm down to Sierra Leone specific because we can't talk about each, African country, and we're not found for say experience now one place is the same everywhere. So we're limiting it to Sierra Leone specifically. Waiting, we don't see the norm over the years. Since me, able for aware about the celebration of the Day of the African Child, it's been wherein mostly that they become a norm during the NPRC era, wherein Peking and they try for mirror waiting big people and they do that one green day, they will make clear Peking and dress fine. Some go dress like Sujaman, go dress like police, and all kind of ways them for say, okay, now so I want for be where I grow up. But they see all them things then they. Sadly enough, where we they do that to the member just the picking their way able for afford or where them people are able for provide for them or help them for even prepare in the first place. But they forget a large chunk because the last most recent statistics were see you get over 50,000 picking them where they live na the streets or they survive na the streets, they hustle na the streets. Over 50,000, that is not just a conservative figure even for the whole country, and more than half of that number na Freetown, the capital city. But we come one great day, you celebrate, you see one play, you picking grow up or aspire for be this policeman, this soldierman, this doctor, this lawyer. But you're not preparing the platform for majority of those kids. There are a good number left out who not even remember whether they even get it for the next 1 hour, 2 hours, the next day, the next week, and so on and so forth. but then we say they celebrate. What is there? We're not celebrating anything. And, governments really get for putting the work. Service providers, they really get for putting the work. And I would add, say genuinely. You have to do it genuinely, not just put it on paper where you're ready for. Sadly enough, we self. I want to ask that question. It might be just a food for thought question because I don't have the answer. And then if any of my colleagues wants to jump in, can jump into that. Are people, who are service providers, including government institutions, exploiting the situations of kids or the vulnerability of picking them just for able to get funding. And at the end of the day, all that funds we then get, most parts of Angola left now the administrative quarters and not go to actual program or, implementing activities we go directly benefit the kids, then self. I have to ask this question because how much, let's imagine $80,000 Prado. Imagine what $80,000 can do for kids in Susan's Bay, for example. Let's make I use Susan Bay example, no disrespect, but because we see the fire incidents will happen. I've not heard of any tangible program for say, okay, now we've had this situation, what are we doing out there to transform this place we've been done, we've been so bad, but now it don't get even worse since the fire incident happened there. So I'm asking, and $80,000 Prado Jeep, not necessarily just for any government, but I'm talking about institutions that are implementing programs or supposed to deliver programs their way directly for benefits picking them. So are we exploiting our kids or we are working in their interests? That's the question. Because one thing I can usually see now, 2 times they see the numbers. You see the numbers when they write the proposal. Sierra Leone kids are this and that. They paint the, graphic and most vulnerable picture. Then the only other time where they see a huge number, over 500 kids, 1,000 kids, we are beneficiaries of our program. But if you actually go do head count, you see how much difference was made from when they implement a certain program for a specific community or target area. All the the comrade, the pikin, they try for reach out to them, they know they come, but this the comrade and difficult. So you hear one excuse to another. I'm not saying they are not organizations doing great job out there. There are a lot of organizations. I'm not going to say government institutions, not they do it and they're supposed to do. They may be doing, but is it reflecting? Are we seeing the difference? It is sure, so now I say we get for talk about the practical side of not just reporting figures, but are these figures real? Or are we just painting a graphic negative picture, but at the end of the day we come for deliver in the interest of the picking them. Then every year we'll make this big keynote speech. We'll talk all them fancy grammar and language. But then next year, either not the same situation or it don't work past how we've been there. So, T-Boy, I don't know if you be there hearing me. We are the, rants. Naya Sula call a rant or, I don't know what's your comment on that.
For comments on some of the few things that I believe you talk about. One, children's ministry in Sierra Leone is possibly the most funded. We need to make a decision now because of the fact, you get all these international NGOs and all these national NGOs raising money, bringing it in with the industry, to the ministry, and then they work directly with the Ministry of Children's and Gender Affairs. Now, why are they still struggling with some of the issues that we talk about? If we want for really be putting in a state, if we really want to sort this problem out with kids being left out to suffer or to run the streets of Sierra Leone, like you clearly mentioned, say the statistics is quite different from what you see on the real picture of what you see on the day. My take on that should be, or will be, or is, it's about raising money, funding. And what happens with the funding? 80% of the funding going to administrative costs. And that is where people have problems with funding organizations right now that deals with children or deals with issues that are affecting human beings all over the world. If you watch now, the reason why make GoFundMe and other international way of raising funds become so likable by the West or so accepted by the West is because some of the issues that now way people in the raise fund for is now direct impacted issues. So you kind of face the problem head on with the specific individuals involved or direct beneficiaries. So the idea of cutting the red tape, bureaucracy, administrative cost, they on the online fundraising stuff they also they exist. Because I feel the international community realizes there's a lot of money being poured into Africa or into other parts of the world for developed nations, for developed children, for health picking and for growth, for eradicate poverty. I remember a couple of days ago, Femi sent a video now with group where they show how then they teach picking them na grow na Ghana to the extent that now the floor, the ground, then in the use as the slate for rights. You know how many organizations then in Ghana really support education? Equally so, put that into Sierra Leone context. I don't do a couple of documentaries them over the years where they talk about dilapidating educational functional institutions then where you suppose for the CC get basic, where the rooftop. Past year the head teacher say, go on, Juma.
Why you laugh? I'm not talking to them, you laugh. You not be see that video, they say, Mr. Cisse, come and see you. Why? We picking and they suffer. Why? You not be don't see that video. That Mr. Cisse, they be the song, Mr. Something, right? Mr.
I know.
Come and see you. Why?
I don't see how.
This is the school picking that I see. The roof not there. Why? Then you see that other video as well where the man where they been the interpret. I don't know if not been when the man maybe the language the man be the talk now be the interpret power job be the add on they mix up and box up. You know that about class school roof nothing all day. So I'm just one for put that inside. When they talk about Ghana, but I say not forget about Mr. Cisse, come and see you.
No, I just make an example to Ghana, but I just want to get a wider picture of liquid no for say the form of abusing kids, not so just Salomede. Wait, this is not the African agenda. I will talk about the AU agenda for curve down the rate at which kids are suffering in Africa. Then make mentions of few more other African countries the way they equally do the worst, like I was using a salon. So basically, in the salon context, it's widely noticed. Because I spoke with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and we talk about eradicating kids out of the streets of Freetown. And I tell the person, say, what you this guy for do? It's fine, but guess what? We they actually groom the picking them when they're small for become adult street kids. Because when they're in that home, when they're small as picking them, we get funding for them. Say they reach to the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, they're now becoming young teenagers. Then they begin self-confusion who's sending at the home because the home not they give them no direction other than just roof them and feed them. That's not enough for these kids. They're not having proper education. They need to engage them in skills training. They need to engage them in anything whatsoever. Pass for give them shelter and then feed them. So when they get to 14, 15, what happens? They begin go out now for go fend for themselves. So then they become the street kids of the adults, the way they grow up for become adult street kids. So the solution, not the issue not is stop, because now ongoing vicious circle from street kids to street adults. That's the transition we they make. So why you go take money for bringing them come into that safety net in the first place? We need to give them nothing other than just shelter and food. I see you want to go sponsor Juma.
Yeah, a good way you mentioned that as well. You see, again, they say they go to hell. Sometimes it pays with good intentions. Yeah, I know in the goodness of we heart, we get all these things. We want for go help. We want for do a lot of good things then for make a difference, because we are human beings, we get emotions, we they feel, we get sorry at, you understand? I talk about the majority. Oh, I want to go help kids. I want to go do a orphanage. I want to go do a foster home. For the best part when me work in a salon, I worked in child protection. And I feel that I work. Okay. Every other thing we do connected with child protection, human rights issues them. And one thing we learn and where we always they say institutionalizing kids is the wrong approach. Institutionalizing them, creating an orphanage or foster home, that should be a last resort or temporary measure. We use that a lot during the war, obviously, because that's in the emergency phase. You know, one follow the picking and they out yonder for minimize the level of exploitation where the picking then go get out there. So you bring them on side with adult supervision. However, your first thing to try to do is to try and get those kids being reunified with their immediate family or extended family. Or worst case scenario, try to put them, with a family. You not get choice, that means you get for foster them with somebody. But for put them in their homes, then they not for be a permanent way. Because like when you talk so T-boy, you don't bring them come when they're not of age. There's no transition program in Sierra Leone from childhood to adulthood. Even modernized economies, advanced economies like the UK and the United States, they are struggling with the picking up of age because no way for justifying funding they get for pull and day for Krango into adult program. That transition day is not there for even advanced economies, let alone Sierra Leone. So definitely don't go and take kids off their family, say then they suffer. You want to go bring them come now, what you call them. And it very difficult. And they say not start with you able for complete. Because if you don't start a program, so you go bring them picture and they suffer, you can't get that in 20, 15, 30. They send bags, school books, and everything. The day when you run out of funding, what happens to those kids? You're gonna be leaving them hanging. And where are they gonna go back? To the streets. You understand? You don't make them more vulnerable because you don't start something you don't get for continue. So that should just be temporary. Even like when we did street kids program, one of the things we've been get for end up do, because they picking them, you not have to force them for Candy center. Some of them were better off out there. So what we did, where Don Bosco being come, they had a wonderful program wherein they come at the center, you can't take your uniform there, you wash, you go school. You can't study. But if you want to go back to the street for go hustle, you go hustle, then you come back. So that now so them begin doing for able for like a cater for the two. Because they get possible they go help yanda, where some say don't see as mama or in bra and all that thing. So what we need to do first is to make sure we strengthen the family setting, we provide, services and create an environment for people as families as yes, right.
I don't want to say anything negative about Don Bosco, but Don Bosco is a cave for kids in Sierra Leone.
Well, I make a term. Don Bosco is not a permanent. Don Bosco is there.
A cave.
is there to provide a relief. It's a temporary place. So Don Bosco is not the problem. Don Bosco is there as a stopcock for somebody where all hell is lost for you. You can go somewhere because you get the potential for let them abuse you more, and the more danger where they for you, where they out here and that you don't know who that. But inside Don Bosco, it's a supervised environment where at least somebody they go able for put an eye, lights they where they know can somebody can stab you inside, they kill you they. I'm not saying not they happen, just like inside your home. You still have brothers fighting, somebody will stab somebody inside the same compound where you did, it will still happen. But
you see, Don Bosco is a recipe for disaster.
It is not.
When it comes to safety, Don Bosco is a cage. Don Bosco is barricaded with iron metal bars.
Yeah.
That is not a safety measure for an institution of children. Because any form of fire disaster at Don Bosco will be extremely bad. Because guess what? There is no escape route in Don Bosco. And not just saying that, it is in an enclosed environment that is very tight and congested.
I don't dispute that, but T-Boy, Don Bosco's layout is not different from any home, any particular family home in Sierra Leone. I'll tell you that.
No, it's different. The reason why it's different because it hosts more than the actual amounts of kids staying in a household.
Yeah, but
when you have more than 30 kids in an environment like that, is a recipe for disaster.
But I can tell you, says Don Bosco is not the solution. It's just a temporary. You understand that? Now, one. Secondly, we not any fire disaster happen yet na Don Bosco, any of Don Bosco homes. Do you know?
We not see. We don't see. We in not publicly come out yet.
No, but when not publicly come out, that exist. But because if it be happen,
no, I disagree with that.
You know of any?
Well, I will not go beyond records, but I will disagree with you.
When they talk about waiting exists on record, because any outside fire accidents happen as alone, when a prominent place, we will know. For as long as they're on record, exists. That's one thing we go say. So, secondly, Don Bosco's home is not different from any Sierra Leonean home where people in the wait for Tinasalo, they see people and don't build them, fine, host them, he put in nice glass and all that thing, and they take iron bar, they put them, he take iron gates, he put them. You understand? So if fire happens, and most of them homes, they do not even get one way in, two exits. So one way in, one way out. That's it. I come in and so they come on. So if fire happens, we don't see the fire incident will happen at Kisi 1 year, well, whole family, because of that particular thing that will happen. So my point, when they make, another say that is not what I will recommend, okay? But at least it is there for certain beginners. So my own first thing is I believe in prevention. Let we prevent first for minimize the number of picking that we go to treat, the number of picking that we go be vulnerable, we go even need Don Bosco service. I would rather the kids be in Don Bosco than in CID or Pademba Road prison. When they happen, most of the people in Pademba Road prison, they meet you at 3, then catch you for loitering, then put inside the Motka Kaigo Eastern Police, for example. The next thing, they'll keep you there for 2-3 days. If they no one for left you, then Kaigo remand. Your family don't know about you. If you get family, your friends don't know about you. You're not be going to school and all that. So we should not be having that kind of situation in our country. That's my take. I don't know whether you have different or if Femi wants to come in and say anything about that.
I kind of agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. But the only thing I'm saying is the idea of creating these homes for children and then allow them for me to grow up for become street kids again when they are teenagers and adults is not a nice transition we're all looking for.
I agree.
So basically, all I'm saying, let's try to create an environment. We don't need to have the numbers. And again, like you say, when the funding ends for the picking and way you look after as picking them, what happens to them? What happens to them? Because I will not say people are not doing it for the love of what they want to do, but also it's because of the funding that comes alongside what they are doing. But if you're generating funds for yourself, you're seeking funds, you're raising funds for yourself, It means you don't have to depend on an organization or any kind of platform for support your agenda for make sure you look after them picking their soul. Because the Millennium Goal for kids in Africa, there's a lot of money being poured into it. A lot of money is being spent into making sure that every child has an amount of education in Africa. And this is the Millennium Goal. We are not in the Millennium. Guess what? The Millennium is almost finished anyway. What has changed? We even seen the worst of situations in Africa. Still, nothing has happened. We say, okay, the Millennium Goal was to make sure that every child in Syria or in Africa grow up to be a child. We still see picking in the same as kids every day in Africa. We still see picking in the go broke stone, get water every day in Africa. So what has changed? And how much money is being poured into this particular system, into this particular agenda? This is a Millennium Agenda where World Bank don't put, UN don't put, international organizations don't put, everything where regards to picking in Africa, they poured money on it. Nothing has changed.
Well, they continue for pour money in.
Yeah, but nothing has changed.
That's why I asked my question. On the day of the African child, are we actually, are institutions or organizations using the vulnerability, playing the vulnerability card to exploit the situation of our kids? Or are they actually, doing programs and activities or projects to ensure these aspirations are achieved? Because you get lots of questions. Because sadly, one thing all right, most recently, Femi, when you're ready, let me know, okay? Most recently, you see, all right, go ahead, Femi. Yeah, then I'll continue. I want to get Femi input into this.
Yeah, Juma, in a way, T-Boy gets a lot of valid points, but I want to talk for institutions that we get at home on our country, and John Bosco,
yeah.
John Bosco, where T-Boy named so just now. So if we compare some of these things, them in Sierra Leone with things here in the UK, where I know but very well, there isn't much difference.
Right.
We they talk about when they picking and go na their institutions, so they're not safe. Yeah. In the UK, I came here as a young man, teenage years, and I befriend a particular family. Yeah. And then gets I befriended a particular girl, and she was in a group of people that she moved around with. They were all foster kids, and the situation around them and them all in Paddy them were quite similar. Most of these people, boys and girls, were abused in one way or another.
Right.
Yeah. They grew up in foster homes. And the funny thing, Italics say they're all, some of them not go up in the same home, different even home, but Italics say they all fend themselves. I don't know how they might fend themselves, but it was a big, massive circle of young black mistrakes picking them, what we call Afghans picking them. They move around together because we used to DJ, so we were very popular. So then we always want for the camp, we business them, which was it was good for our morale because we had like groupies who would turn up at our place. We turn up with our crowd. People liked booking us because they know say they mobile to the car with a bunch of young fresh faces. But we saw them. I met one of the guys there. He became a very serious drug addict. He was introduced to the drug scene at a very early age in the home within the Rizam. And all of the guests, so they smoked, they took medium drugs, they drank. None of them finished school. You know, it was really and truly. Sometimes we get situation that we was passing in a salon. Yeah, but I talk from experience, which I seen at England, where I hang out with some of them people also. I try to be like a big brother to most of them. You know, I try to encourage them. 1, 2, or 3 actually make them out of that situation there. So they made it. They went back to school, got educated, went to uni, you know. But 90% of the one that we meet have never held a proper job in their lives. They carry on the situation with them finding themselves in. It's like they don't let handle. You know, this is the best society is going to give me, so, you know, what the hell. And you know, it's sad. I bumped into one of them on the bus a few weeks ago. I never recognize him. Now he recognized me. So, you know, and I know I haven't changed much, but some of these guys have changed. They've aged so much in a short space of time because they live life hard. They live it fast. So, in a way, I agree with Tibo. Some of the institutions also not to the best place for picking them. But as you say, it's better there than being in more danger out in the streets. But then they learn boku bad thing inside the place in the. So sometimes instead of cry the place them down and say they're not for send picking them good, sometimes we get for encourage them for step up their game. You know, they already did a good job, but we need them for do better. But it's not just about Sierra Leone. It's I believe say this problem is the world over. So when picking them out of the family nucleus, and somebody else they raise them, they know they raise them with the best of their abilities. You know, some of the people might just be in it for the money we governments they provide, or we institution they provide for them. Some people might go with the intention for go fan picking them because sometimes they're never born for men, for raise, for help. Some, you know, all man getting reason, but we need for fan an answer for we picking them for tomorrow. You know, or even for the one for today, because there's a lot of kids, especially in this side of the world where they, because we always remember salon, but the problem is here as well. This side of the world where we don't see families split up. Papa not in house, mama they try for his picking them, especially we boy picking them, then begin act funny, then gonna treat. So you know, there's issues with kids here, and African kids, because we talk about the African child, but the African child, you know, is not always necessarily in Africa that have the problem. We get African children in the diaspora we are just in a funny position. I'm gonna let Fanso for now. I don't talk boku. Juma, you do with me? You know, because you defend that video.
Are they with you? Thank you so much, Femi. I did try for actually see that's the beauty about our conversation. Thank you so much, Abdullah. He made a recommendation of somebody where actually they operate in a salon, and I did try for call in the work with picking them. So you know, we don't talk about what's happening on paper, but let's talk about the practical things there. So some able for guide the conversation as well. Yeah. So Tibo, you comment whilst I pick this call and get the guests for come on, please.
I know that Femi don't talk extensively about the issues the way he don't highlight. So I think those issues are very important and they're paramount. But like you clearly say, these are serious issues, and you make mention of that particular incident because the comparison with the picking and waiting at the diaspora and the picking and waiting salon is not too much of a difference because they've all been under the same situation. But my take is, why do you think today we have, I would say, not much of the numbers they would expect on a regular basis? And think about it. There are so many Sierra Leonean organizations out there forging for funding for salon picking. Or they have programs where they do for help Sierra Leonean kids. How many of them know the importance of this day today? How many of them know what to make this day mean so much? I remember 10 years ago, we were in Freetown, and this day arrive, guess what? Every single child in Sierra Leone wants to be part of this day. Even up till last night, I have a conversation with a mother who told me 2 of Impikinde want to get their hair done. One a man, one a woman, because of this particular day. Okay, one day religiously, they take part in this day celebration. But like I hold on the short, make I get to Juma, like I get we call her on the line, and like we get a discussion with him.
Yeah, thank you so much, T-Boy. We get a Sierra Leonean way, definitely a lot of we don't they follow a lot, for a long period of time. With a project we call the Sick Picking Charity. We don't do a lot of things them, and we see a Sierra Leonean doing something impactful and a lot of people embrace. So when we talk about the Susan's Bay example, somebody in our platform, Abdullah, highlighted, say, wow, not contact this person because this person actually they do so much work now, Susan's Bay for the past 1 month. And we remember we say one for, discuss this issue in a practical way. We don't want only the kids that we can see. How about the one that way they're not left out? So Ishmael Morgan Heritage, they will be online as well. Ishmael, welcome to CRGM Media, and thank you for taking the time to be part of our program. Hello, Ishmael, did you hear me?
Very welcome, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I get you, sir. Very welcome, sir. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. So, let's put them into perspective. This conversation came up because today is the Day of the African Child, and we look at the theme where they talk about accelerating the Agenda 2040. And we read all the aspirations there, but some of them things then they will try for bring and come home and localize them. We'll get for ask practical questions. If they talk about healthy childhood, quality education, are we thinking only about the kids in the Western area? What about the one in Susan's Bay? But then we understand, say, you don't do work in Susan's Bay since the fire incident happened there. So now you will take force on that, and then we'll ask follow-up questions.
Well, maybe I'm not sure if I get the question very clearly, but yes, centrally, we don't work at Susan's Bay since the disaster happened on the 24th of March, and on the 26th of March, Caritas Freetown, with the partners then where we get a consortium we call Partnering to Serve Humanity. We begin to provide hot meal na the community day, and we've been divide the entire Susan's Bay into zones. So we divide them into 7 zones for your own convenience, for make we effectively and efficiently able to cook and manage the feeding program we'll be doing. As family will know, many a times when there's a disaster, get access to pots and pan and spoon and then kind of batin them. So as part of we own strategy for bring both psychosocial support and feeding to the people them, we always can provide hot meal. Yeah, and how we can do them, we can bring and the condiments them to the community and engage community woman them and people them, woman them, especially we survivors or victims of the unfortunate disaster, and use that opportunity there for provide for them de-traumatization while we cook along with them. And so now we do with the Susan's Bay. We begin the cooking from the 26th and we stop on the from the 26th of March, and we stop on the 13th of specifically. So every day we provide hot meal for we target originally we will first go to the community now for 3,000 people, but as we know, fire disaster now a total of 7,093 people them. So every day we feed almost 6,000 people them we especially the one that will not be get signed for move go, we is still just the catch around the community day, around the Susans Bay community day. And now so we'll be able to feed them in the 7 zones. We make 7 zones, 2 zones, then we feed 500 people them each, and the other 5 zones then we feed 400 people them each as per we target. But their numbers then they exceed, as I indicate, recently. Right. And so we also will provide the woman them with sanitary pad, with soap for brook and wash, and also we provide baby food them will be inclusive of Gygos and Cerelac and Nutrilak, so that then go give the young baby they will not do for eat, the food will be the cook. And also we provide a packet of baby diapers. So these are some of the supports that we provide. Additionally, so we provide 1,000 blankets, and we also will provide clothing for each family member, for all the 1,597 households them we comprise of this 7,090 total of individuals them were affected by the fire disaster. Right. And we spent really very long time in the community, beyond 1 month.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, and thank you for the work where your organization and the consortium do. Because you based on the ground practically, and one of the questions that will be get to conversation we'll grapple with. Now, on I don't do an intervention, as a relief efforts, okay? When I spend a month there because obviously it is funding dependent, and funding intensive. So in your experience, what usually happens, what can happen where organizations that don't go, let's say for child protection or picking business example, you don't do something, powerful program when I don't start, but left at a particular, depending on how long una want for the or how long.
Yes, for sure.
Then what happens?
It can't be forever.
Yeah, so then what happens after that? That transition day. Are they going back to the same old thing? Or what really happens? Are there other transition programs for move them forward to something else? Or government or who that they can take over after another left, for example?
Well, I think one of the things that we are filled for also indicates that at the end of the day, the last few days then before we actually exit the community, even though we will not completely exit yet because we still monitor the situation long day, and we get intention for the work with some partner organizations then for all, and also the government for doing what we call build back better. Yeah. And so, as part of that process, we say we're not going to solve all the problems, but we will provide cooking pots, cool pots them, and pots them for cook and spoons and bowls for the people them we will be known to cook for. So we provide 1,597 pots and cool pots, 2 pots per household. Support and resport, and then kind of stuff. And Gary also, when I be one bag Gary, we be in our 50-50 and some 25 kilogram bags them, where we give to the people them. So this are the other part we'll do. However, because also we believe, me not only a humanitarian, but also somebody who gets a lot of experience in development. We believe there must come a time where we for able to support people and for transit from that absolute emergency and to recovery, and then eventually go to a development phase. Right. And so the only pathway, unfortunately, it disappoints you, not still able to do in this rainy season already, now for provide a standard housing for the people then. Well, like I say, this is not something we still work with government, and we partner them in Taiwan and US. We look at what government puts out and call them build back better. Yeah. So the government wants to build back in the same community for the people then, because we know for sure if they build like any other community, the people are not going to agree for move.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this is what we don't do there, and of course, the need is always going to be there. But we also believe, say, as development practitioner, also we think, say, there must be a time where the people are able for regain their own self dignity and go back to searching for their own livelihood and go back to normal life. Because if we create excessive culture of dependence, then the people will go lost in self-dignity, and then they go be a burden to both organizations and the state. But not only that, but also that the people will not go get intentional plan for even begin for fend for themselves again.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Before I pass you over, possibly T-Boy and Femi get question for you. Me question you in your experience working in Sierra Leone. What do you think, say, as a nation, we able for set a proper platform for we picking them for grow up in a society where go be better for them, than what we think possibly we the experience or majority the experience right now?
Well, I think, say, I want for hastily say, without any regrets, that we don't feel we're picking them plenty, like this country also, and even the current youth them, we have been picking few 5 years or little above than or little less, ago than be picking them. We don't feel a lot. I mean, I always can reflect back when we've been to go school. We been get a situation where if you misbehave in the streets, any adult with you around will discipline you. If you get mind, go complain or go to the adults and complain to your people them and see how you people then go further discipline you back. Yeah. Unfortunately, over this period now, we don't see plenty people them not get that kind term day again for me. Discipline picking them again. Just yesterday, where Leon started win the game, where they celebrate. Two picking them where they go now. One school where they call June Municipal. Then boy picking and girl picking. Then they shut the streets for cold cap. And I meet them, stop them, and intervene and ask questions and all that kind of thing. And also take picture of them. Say, I will go report them at the school. But it's unfortunate because then they are the uniform and then boku lesson. And plenty other adults that don't pass, see them picking the yasu, but not do nothing. Now be me and one and two other gentlemen them after we are intercept, then self come and can support me and we able to separate the picking them and we want them say we will go report them at the school, But this is not just one example of the many things them. Adults them these days and they talk carelessly before picking them. We're not mindful, we're not conscious of what picking them they do. We're not interested for correct picking them. So that they were able for learn from their lessons them and learn from your own instructions them. But Sierra Leone generally, I think say we get serious responsibility for the way for build a better system for picking them. One, we for first of all ensure say in all we schools them we for make civic education a critical subject, so that picking them first of all go learn for be very, very passionate about their country, and then go learn the anthem and the pledge from their heart. Not for just singer like how can singer the crew they sing I will exhaust instead of I will exalt thee. So all that kind of things and we think we need for take up seriously, but also we need for also build a better system. Usai we picking them go be protected. We picking them go able to get access to a true and sincere quality education where they all go able for go school without fear and risk and able for become the people that we were able for take up the mantle for lead and develop we country further because plenty of young generations that don't already fail.
All right, thank you so much, Ishmael. I'll pass you over to T-Boy and Femi quick. I know say you're busy and we caught you, possibly busy with other things, but we'll make Ledensev ask you a couple of questions, then we'll let you go. Over to you, T-Boy.
Thank you very much, Ishmael, for your contribution this evening. And we believe, say, you don't take your precious time for joining me. I know say most of what you don't highlight,
yes, sir.
your last message, then you don't highlight most of the agenda for the new millennium for make we able to achieve some of the things they will fit to say now paramount things them to African kids. You say they represent Caritas in Sierra Leone, right?
No, you deal with young Peking, young programs, the Sick Peking charity.
No. Well, the Sick Peking charity, Brother Juma.
Yes.
Nah, just what you call me voluntary work.
Okay.
So me paid work actually when I'm a full-time responsibility now with Caritas and Haley International Relief Foundation. So I did full-time with the 501c3, a US 501c3 called Haley International Relief Foundation, and they do secondment with Caritas Freetown.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Sick Peking project now 100% voluntary initiative where I've been started together with the executive director of Caritas some 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
Right. Okay, I just want to ask you one question number. As somebody who worked for Caritas over the past couple of years, you feel say the agenda for one of the agenda of the AU goal for curve the lifestyle of African kids possibly go be met within the next 5 or 10 years with a protection against violence and abuse?
Well, you see, to be very truthful, the 7 aspirations that we African leaders they may come out with, we are calculating like a 43 more years for make we achieve them. I mean, we would all turn old by now, but the truth is, it's a bit ambiguous, and each of them aspirations they didn't get their own goals them. Even though we look at like I say by 2063, it's not a long time, but 43 years, for the way for like achieve if we not begin to make frantic effort, sincere. Synergized efforts them collectively within the context of from village settings or we regular community settings to we regional and national, and then go now to neighboring countries and we own sub-region, before we will even take the whole of Africa, take the Arab Africa, the French Africa. It's a whole lot of processes we're going to go through. And I personally very optimistic. I believe say if we start now in a very realistic way, we will able to make some significant effort, but not in the next 5 years or 10 years. Because you see, one of the significant things that we will not pay better attention to now how much sincerely Africa ready for using natural resources and ready for play a democratized processes. We will enable for make the people that feel like they get right and they're able for challenge and governments them within Africa for make them able for get the needed resources for where they need and also be able for actualize their dreams. Because poverty now the biggest hindrance, lack of access to resources, they cause a lot of challenges for African people there. While in Western countries, people can get access, young people can get access to loans for me to able for go to school. And all that kind of thing and the way a big challenge for we in Sierra Leone. People they take loan. But even the side outside governments they provide free education or they provide scholarship for or partial scholarship to students them. They're not a set them so we government not get systems the way young people then they sign up a loan because they're like a loan where they will come back and able for work back so that the states go able for recover that resources you will not spend for that particular students day. And at the end of the day, there's a cycle we will go back because once that person for recover, the state for recover from that person day, and then go for use that resources for another set. And so if we for build up with system around them kind of a way, then they go help with a lot. So it's a whole lot of push and pull dynamics. Then we know we self know be very well placed for able to address them at this particular time of your life. Then.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. One more thing. I know say you don't work with kids them a lot naturally because I know say couple of almost a year or two ago have been helped for put together some documents of Caritas for put together on a current report magazine format. So I read extensively about some of the work that we on a salon. But it's in your opinion.
Right, thank you.
In your opinion, you believe, say, what thing could be the first thing first in terms of benefits to kids for actually begin curve this kind of issue where we face in a salon in terms of kids, then they all over the place, na streets and the cell, and then as street kids at night during the day, and then to all form of impossible activities the way you want for make you picking get involved with. What thing are one of the key things where you feel to say an organization like a Caritas go do for begin address this particular situation? Just one or two of the key things then as a starting point.
I mean, significantly, majority of them begin they also they sell in the streets or they into what we can call commercial sex work or all that kind of challenging things and the way they take away their innocence as speaking them. Now because of the level of poverty. So if we able for set up systems them. Recently, we've been on the beginning. We, as an organization, as in Caritas, don't begin to look into the possibilities. Don't begin to discuss with we partner at Germany, Caritas Germany, on how we were able for develop some sort of program around, especially beggars them picking them, because picking them when they work out with their parents them, whether they Waterloo, then they Fomile, then they inside Freetown, or then they Okel or Wellington, whichever angle within they. The fact means we morning 10 camp, then go for go left their family, their papa or mama them, Natong, and then they go for go bigger. And when they go for go do this bigger, then picking any mostly, then they left the small one and not be the land for the criminal. Yeah? Because always they think about now survival. And then begin not to get access or opportunity for able for go school, because then are the eye for the people that they work out with. And so one of the things that we will think of now for see how we can able for design a program where we go target all the blind person and in Peking. But the specific focus now on the Peking, because this person don't blind. But this Peking, still young, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or 15 years, gets a future, and it gets for become a father or a mother where you get for carry a young cross and take and born a young Peking. And so because of that, we don't begin to design and think around how for comprehensively target, some sort of skill training opportunity for the blind people them, and also get them picking the also for go back into school. But we know say also that something that very challenging. We need a lot of psychosocial readiness, mental health readiness for providing that kind mental balance. Because when they became another in streets for so long, they don't become very street savvy. They think of the smart ways of survival. And no might be one for interested for in a classroom, because then they feel most times say this is from a pilot test we don't do. Now they give this feedback from. Say, well, most times they feel like say, oh, they go school, they take for no better. Oh, they not still they get money quick. Yeah. But they not they look at the benefits at the long term. So we get for continue for do that kind of thing there. And we believe say education are the key, because it not only they serve as the opportunity for making them learn something and become what they want for be in the future, but it's significant also for enable them, for make them able for build up that kind of a trust and strength around themselves. We will enable them for make them able for become good citizens and also use education as a therapy for picking them way they go through trauma and stress or depression. Now they host them because of the level of poverty. So we think say we therefore try for clear up and identify the issues the way they write now with the free education and see how we can ensure say them issues then they for picking a few books. We need for ensure say they get all the books them. We need for ensure say the teachers they are well motivated, so that the teachers they can teach with the requisite passion where they require, because most of the teachers them plenty people do the teach as Sierra Leone. Then they go teach only because like what they say, work out forget, work out forget. So I they go teach and become a teacher. And once they find clean a pasture, they don't disappear and go another place. And when that can happen, they lost a lot. And so we need for ensure say we incentivize teaching. We make let teaching become very lucrative. Let teaching become, because once any country gets the education right, we begin for go towards getting the right skills. And as the beginning they go, we institutions them, we hire learning institutions them for position themselves, for provide what we call a modern day tertiary education. Because plenty institutions them, like a million college where I go from a college, they're the same traditional college will be open in the 1800s. Now the same kind of a way than they do. We want to make the college be more flexible, be more dynamic, so that they're able to design new courses, new programs, where they take on in the reality. People that are this 21st century for begin for study how to manage and handle social media, because the trend we're on now social media, almost everything they happen. And if people are not ready for go course, we still they get ministers that we go sit in our office. They're not savvy for turn on their computer. They're not savvy for use laptop computers. So if you still get that kind of people and they in position, then you imagine the kind of challenge where we will get in the next generation. So we need for build the next generation, for me they're able to learn the trend, the things that way they happen now. People then get degree them or paper them, practical paper that we will enable them for me they're able to attract work immediately when they come out of school. So that we not get thousands of young people that we will end up for come out of school and not get the opportunity for land work. And because as that day they happen, the beginners, therefore they grow up, go they in lots of depression. Because they go see like waiting they can care for go school for. If the big brother don't come out college and get work kids after 4-5 years. So we need for get them right and ensure say education is taken very seriously in the way we were able for use them as the platform or make we spring from to the next level of development and the progress that we continue.
All right, thank you so much.
I think Ishmael, we need to forget you on a separate program because this program will go enough for Luke to talk to you.
Right.
Definitely.
Just Femi, for you quick, then we'll let you go. Femi, over to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get Femi for asking questions quick.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, it's very quick. Mr. Ishmael, what's your biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge that you people face when they do this kind of work? So, and if you get one wish, what's you go be for solve that challenge there?
This is one of the biggest challenge where I can get. Now forget many people them for collaborate, for the right reasons. I mean, I can make typical examples where I put picture of myself on my wife, on my picking on Facebook, on my own personal account. I mean, you go see say in 3 hours, a minimum like where I would attract now like a 50, a minimum comments where I would attract now like a 26. Yeah. This is something where I don't take time study very clearly over a period. But if I put something we for do with requesting for support for sick making projects, or explaining the story or narrative of a suffering child, or a sick begin, or somebody where need just some kind of help, you go find out, say, in 6 hours, you will still get 9 likes only. I mean, that then a testament of the challenge. In fact, a lot of people that not even read this thing, or as they look at the picture, so they can pass them quickly, maybe not even see them for the second time. And that is one of the biggest challenge. We do get people that we can donate from time to time. We don't help people make the project don't get the success that we don't record so. But yet, I tell you, my brothers, if we're not able to get consistent number of people in a volume, we will donate smaller amounts. Then we're not going to be sustainable. If we get people the way they do, we get 10,000 salon people them, we donate 30,000 leons every month. It's far more better than forget 100 people or 50 people then, we will donate $500 every month. because that day go reach the point where they will get tired and then will feel depressed and then will financially broke and they're not able to meet the demand anymore. But when we reduce the scale, we make 30,000 euros for 10,000 people. If we able to reach that target day, then automatically it will easy for able to handle the number of people they get. From when this project don't start, the sick picking project I'm talking about don't take 3.5 years, and they don't save 58 picking them. Right now, as I talk to now, we get 4 picking them within India. Just recently, if you follow me or if you look with Facebook page on the sick picking project, you will realize say we sent picking them close to 2 weeks ago to India, and one of them is the back part of the pen cover. They don't pull the pen cover. With the use of VATS surgery, video assisted thoracic surgery, and pull the pen cover. The other one being gets congenital heart issue. And don't do inception surgery and don't fix the 2 critical issues the way it gets what they call ventricular septal defect and tetralogy of the phalanx. So that one and they don't fix them. And we get 2 that we've been on it before. We Air Dubai, they don't stop their flight to via Dubai or come to Accra and Freetown. And we hopefully say then go resume them soon. But just because they're not did it for that long, don't cost we $2,500 extra for their feeding and accommodation because they don't come from the 26th of April. Before India, they may get this new strain, we show up with the international media, they may hype up too much, and then they make plenty airline, they also cancel their flights. But we were there directly in touch with India, say the case them, the way they be hype up, first of all, not be like so. And secondly, the case them even don't reduce drastically as the day they go by. And so we hope for soon, then we will fix back their plane. But when we talk about the major challenge that Sierra Leone and for raise fund, because plenty people them still believe say we for write proposal, we for go to Western countries, we for go to international organizations there now aboard and go ask them for money. But we believe, say, the sick picking projects also now a Pan-African initiative where we believe, say, we salon people them for solve we use salon problem. And significantly, the 58 picking them we were not able to help so far. And minimum money we would spend by each picking like a $15,000. We get for pay in flight, in medical, in accommodation, and in feeding na India for go and come. And then kind of thing and they should say, if we're ready for Duam, we'll go able to do them. So we just need for put we hearts, they say this is something we want for achieve, and we go able for achieve them, and together we'll get them. So fundraising, like I say, my brother, now the biggest challenge. I just give them in scenarios and for make you for understand exactly how critical it can be. Like now when I'm in season, the volunteer then go bigger. Today may not be able to join because I've been in some other involvements around the celebration of the African Child Day and also the Sierra Leone model of Africa Union they launched today. So I mean I've been key launch in Bessin and on Vela. But when the fundraisers then go raise funds today, it is unfortunate that less than 200,000 they get. And as the rain then they intensify, then they will then go bigger, where they get only 39,000 leos, where you get 10 volunteers, then go down the street and then spend 2 solid hours and then come back with 39,000 leos. So these are just some of the challenges that we will get because giving is still a new phenomenon that we country and we think say we for use every media opportunity we get for continue for popularize and raise their awareness that if we're not able to solve your own problem, nobody not going to solve our problem.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. So on that note, because I know say we get a good number of diaspora audience, and one thing we can be common, we want for help, this, that, we don't do so much, but we frustrated, if they go on the wrong side, if we make people then go eat time, then go this, then go that. Waiting will be your motivation to diasporans, they will still get that heart of giving, of sometimes some people they contemplate, they want to do, but they don't know how to go about a way. Actually, no go now somebody in pockets, but go to the, direct beneficiaries.
I agree. So, with that sentiment, say plenty people don't give them money, they go to the wrong places them. But I can also say sometimes we see people that they do, and and they thrive on people them mental and psychological niceness, because we recently, one of the cases that we are the point one of the party makers an example. Now one baby we they may pass with in video na social media we get an oral imperforation or malformation. It means say it not gets anus, and you get the shape and everything, but there's congenital malformation we cause for making not able to get anus and bone so it up. But this na pikin we get on we list on sick pikin. So many times when sick pikin project like write an article, share them na WhatsApp or Facebook, and then they reach 3 people them where you go see go share them. But when people them do video from one corner and say, hey, we look for help, look this pikin here, now so, then people then they rush for that kind of video there and then go share them. This one grand pikin in case where even we don't register the pikin that we list and are the very medical doctor where they treat the pikin, where Dr. Iya Levy, when are we only medical we only surgeon where we get we pediatric surgeon where we get na Sierra Leone now in Senator we register the pikin everything and go to that stage. Yes, they're not afraid. They still pull them na do. They still do video. Then they reach out for money because somebody tell them say if they reach out, if they pull the video out, then go get support. And that's not a major challenge. So because of that kind of thing, we reach out back and say no. People need to understand. Say yes, this picky also get this problem. Not to lie, but if everybody begin for donate to the people them, as the people they want to make it happen, then they go collect the money, and at the end of the day, they're not still able to help the pikin. We don't happen many times. We don't get situations they will find family they don't collect money for their own pikin. We really they eat the money, then they begin look for help. Genuinely now, like sick pikin na help, this pikin so na die so and all that kind of thing. And they, just that one video day, I've been get over 250 people that will send them to me. Even though we don't actually address the problem and we don't fix the appointments with the doctor and ask the Cobra for go with the pikin to the doctor, for the doctor go because the doctor for the set date for make it do the surgery at the anus and open the anus. Then after a couple of months, whether they don't heal, they do what they call colostomy reversal. We mean say it go pull the gut when the pikin they excrete now and pass them na the anus so that the pikin go begin for excrete normal. And at this same doctor also be actually create this colostomy. We be bust the side of the belly and put the large intestine where they posting mortal man they excrete so that the pikin go able for the gonad. So me believe say for make we able for get people them trust, people them don't see how the sick pikin project done transparently. We are a results oriented organization. No sooner we able to raise money for any pikin, each pikin, we ensure say that pikin they fly to India or to wherever we able to go. We don't get few pikin, we don't go to Europe, we don't go na Spain and also na Italy. And once we able to get access to the resources, we immediately make sure say that pikin gets the help we need, and that's how we don't able to get things right. And so if you want to donate to an institution, to an organization, we're transparent, we're able for we result oriented, we go give the goal. We go ensure say your money is used for the intended purpose. Donate to Sick Pikin Project. And not only donate, but follow in our Facebook. We name our Facebook now the Sick Pikin, PIKIN. That's how we spell we own Pikin. The Sick Pikin Project. And use that opportunity for see all the updates we provide. Or look now our website on www.sickpikin.org. Or you can also send we your number, and we can always add you now. We groups them. As it is right now, we don't register and don't launch na the United Kingdom. Sick Picking Project, they now officially na London. And anybody will donate na UK or around Europe, you can donate directly to we account. We can share with source code and we account number through through Sarah Gem Media and any other media network we're able for get access to, then go able for share for we, so that people then go donate and you can get the tax deduction when you donate to the Sick Picking Project na UK. And we don't right now we're on the process also for try for register na the US. So now that way then they will believe say we for able for do them, and this are well-meaning Sierra Leone and them that then they help follow do all the registrations they are. So people away where the project not they pay penny, where we not they pay penny, and people the way they donate to the projects every month. Now so we even take for determine the consistent volunteers there. People the way they donate every month to the project and don't develop that kind of interest and trust. That then they help for do the registration. And this project, not to one person get up. We want for everybody and everybody come on board, so that we all go able for save the picking them with sickness salon one at a time.
Well, thank you so much, Ishmael Morgan Heritage, for the time where you take and for sharing your perspective about, development and, challenging issues in a salon, but more so about the activities of the Sick Picking Project, where they help for, rescue situations that we something can be challenging for families as well as communities. So we appreciate you very much, and please do send us those details. We'll make sure we share it on our platform and, promote them in the best way possible. And we'll definitely keep in touch with you. Like T-Boy stated, maybe we'll need to do a program about Sick Picking.
Very many thanks, my brothers.
Okay, thank you. Stay blessed and wherever you are right
For sure. I think so we for inform fumble them, we need to do a flyer so that we go choose a day where we go do an online fundraising, but not only online, but we will use the opportunity to do some presentation so that fumble them will see some of the pictures and stories and videos we of the work that we would only do.
Okay, definitely. It's gonna be a date here. And we will talk at the back end and then make them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Stay
God bless.
Well done for the good job owner they do out there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, family way they listen, that was Ishmael Morgan Heritage. You see, we tell when I say the CRGM Media is the people's platform. It can't be better than this. When they talk about picking and business, when they can also say, na straight jacket, how we put on so na enegbada where they put you, it's still it's a bit enegbada the uniform, where they line and then put starch. Alex, if you jam yourself in it for them. Not to that. Yes, we are very flexible here. One of the regulars suggested someone who is a good resource. We can share practical things there with we and we don't hear. So all the things that will be they talk about now, so somebody don't come say I'm in about 41 minutes. Now these are the realities. There are people doing well in Sierra Leone for help situation, but the challenges there are many. And we therefore do better if we not fulfill, we pick it there. If we talk about the Day of the African Child, the conversation not just get for stop on this day or stop on paper or designing one agenda from another. By the same way, the next 12 months, now a new theme then they come up with again. But what's in to happen? They don't achieve what's in them set for the last one? No. So, and again, it talk about certain things that were very practical that we get for make sure so we adapt things where they work for we. So that's the only way we can guarantee the sustainability part of it. Imagine that if we can get more doctor here, lab business here, when a pediatric surgeon, sometimes Sick Picking Project not being get for they spend $15,000 for send picking at India. They would have spent that money less than that, or even if not done them been spent at all, but if we do quality job, the Pekino will be stranded na Dubai and all those things, or not able for come back because Dubai suspended flights with India. So these are things that were they beyond their control. But because of the infrastructure, not the home, then it creates problem. So are we going to build those infrastructures for make sure, say, we limit some of them, challenges there, so for we picking them, if not so for we? So these are some of the questions that we get for us. Kasifemi gets comments, we want for make or question, and then T-Boy.
Yes, Juma. So the problem we have is donor fatigue. Yeah, na big problem. A lot of we don't give, and their money then they don't get misused. Yeah, we don't give to the international foundation them. As T-Boy said earlier on, we see their money then they get tied up in red tape, if you can call it that. We see NGOs them, especially in Africa, na the jobs and then they all my want. And the reason why people all want then job then they because the NGO money, the NGO person they gets paid a lot more than a lot of local staff. So people that we they give don't begin finance eventually. I want give towards this cause, but I find out who I give some of the NGO then go na Africa, then tap na push us them, they right push mutuka them. That's not really where I want to put my money. I want my money to go outside it, they make a difference. But if 95 cents on the dollar they get used on luxury, petrol, you name it, per diem, then I might not be interested, or 95 pence in each pound. So a lot of we begin give to local charities, smaller charities them we been believe say because we sabi the people who they run and then get good integrity, they will add value to the beneficiaries in life. But then some of we realize say even they one in they safe, although they're close to we and we believe in their vision, we don't necessarily see that. We see some of them money then they end up in the wrong places them. So over the years a lot of people then get tired of just giving and not seeing any return. So I think that's the problem, Dandy. But part of the problem is we can't really make a difference. We can give, which is good, but we can't really make a difference because we serve not Greg Mandem. And I need to talk about me, you, and T-Boy here. I'm talking about Sierra Leoneans in general. Yeah? We not drag mandem. So we the drag till we retire, we still the drag. So it asks for real and truly knack chest and gi. So the only people who will knack chest and gi now people that we they earn a certain amount of money, and we know that Africa now the people that we get the liquid cash. They're usually politicians. Yeah? In this side of the world, the ability to give is in the power of the grey head. The people that we don't retire. We they ready for retire. That man we don't old 90, they die left in fortune in puss. They left in fortune in church. They left in fortune NSPCC. Those and not just a mammy that par himself. You understand? These people give because they've come almost to the end of their lives. They don't get always in their wants. They don't want to go buy a Porsche or Ferrari. They're not interested. They're not looking after parents, grandpicking and great grandpicking them. They've just got money in the bank. Then pension they come in every day, so they give. So really and truly, I think the answer to most of the problems now for fix we country, work on sustainability for especially the middle class. Let's build that middle class, give them the right to work them where they need for sustain themselves and their families, and then they'll have a surplus. Then when people are so rich in retirement age, they're going to have money to burn, literally. So that money they now we can able for nakna den no more. Kong. We need help. We get X amount of picking them, we need shelter. We get X amount of picking them, we want give scholarship for go school. These are the I think saying are the building blocks and then in the way society need. And then I think a country like Sierra Leone need. During the lockdown, I was watching a program where they talk about how the white van, was really the backbone of England. Because of the amount of people that way they do then work, then they will not consider driving work now salon like a good work. But in this country, where COVID happened, now people realize the importance of deliveries. I know the Grab gonna shop again. I want go Asda, I want go Marks and Spencer, I want go Tesco's. I just pick up my phone, I go online, I order, and it comes to my house. Drivers became very, very important. People then they left their work them for good driving work. Because these people were considered what they call them?
Essential workers.
Essential workers, that's it. So it is important to grow that in there. If you go tell Saloma, say a van driver and an essential worker, now Badia and they watch you. You understand? We need to provide jobs then we give people the living wage so that they're able to take care of themselves, their family, and put money aside for tomorrow. The way tomorrow come, we then still get surplus, then go able for help them, comping them. They not go die, left almost million na bank where they not get for bury it. So again, mindset change. But I believe really and truly we need to build we need to develop, we need to build. We call our Ishmael talk, but then people are within our office, we're not having lights and computer. There's lots of things that education is the key, and as we talk about the child, the day of the African child, we talk about then tomorrow, we get to remember the education, because if we're not able to do too much for them and they within now, at least let's plan. Let's put the processes in place so that when they were to turn real age and they get picking and grand picking them, they will be able to give them picking and the waiting they not been get and get surplus for give other picking them. So it's a I don't know, it's a wave thing, I do small bits, you do small bits, I do small bits, you do small bits. But again, one last thing before I go, I want to talk about Ishmael talk about them blind people them with them picking and they hold their hand, help them for go big, okay, then go from yonder. It's not just Sierra Leone again. Again during COVID, we see beaucoup families them we get beaucoup disabled people that we get able-bodied picking them. And then picking and they turn their carers. And then care and they then struggle and suffer, especially during COVID. Because imagine you're home with a disabled parent, you do all things for that parent day, and you don't even get chance for get 5 minutes for going at kids because you're in lockdown. So there were programs about them. On a general day-to-day basis, carers in general, be it an adult, be it a child, suffer. Some of them get for left full-time education for become full-time carers. Them. Some of them, their private lives then destroyed because then they look after elderly parents or disabled picking them. There's many issues them we Ishmael talk about today. But again, I want to say make make them carry on their work. Sometimes it might feel hard. They might feel as if they're not winning, they're not going anywhere. But people always they tell me, say, if you're able to change one green person no more in life, you've literally achieved your vision. And if we all go around, they think that day we all try for change one green person in life, I think say we all go do great thing for Mama Salon, I think, and say, or the world at large.
Well, that's Obafemi Pama. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution and for the echo some of the things where Ishmael say, and for challenge some of the realities them as well where they happen. But the bottom line, like you say, we should not give up. If you're able for change one situation, you're able for help one person, or you're able for reverse one adverse event for a family or person, that is something, That'll be the greatest gift you give to yourself and satisfaction where you go get. And like you say, and with the camp, you get for do research, who that you work with, who that you go give, who that because you have for see results. So those things are very important. Over to you, T-Boy.
I feel say what Ishmael say very important, and it just shocked me for I realized today say we get only one pediatric surgeon in the salon.
It shock you?
Well,
at least me on the other hand was like, wow, at least we have one. At least we have one.
Juma. One pediatric surgeon.
I am trying to be realistic here. I say at least
you say we get one. We don't have.
Say we get
one. I rather we don't have. I know for so we suffer from that. Than the entire nation only gets one. Come on, Juma. Just like how they say, you make mention of that $15,000 when you go pay abroad.
Yeah.
That alone is enough for sponsor at least 2 students in our salon for maybe 2 or 3 years for study pediatric and go into the surgeon aspect of them. So, but we get for beginning thing very seriously about some of the things we'll talk about.
Because what to make us say that? Because imagine if this one self instead decides say no, I go work outside and they pay me better money. Let not even go to America or England, but go Saudi Arabia, for example, Dubai, where younger than they collect tax, go work there first. Imagine waiting for that happen to the picking the way they go when I they first intervene with them. Now say not able for make them send and go overseas. Imagine
that's not more than a serious issue.
Right. So I'm not saying that it's okay. I just say at least I'm happy to know I'm happy for no say at least we get one. I'm not saying it's okay because it's embarrassing. So that the shock self for no say we get one.
Out of context.
Who say we get a second person we practice mental health with a psychiatrist alone? For long not to Dr. Naim no Mobinge. Most recently, last 5 years, not to get another one young person. One.
So imagine how mentally disturbed Dr. Naim was throughout his entire career. But nobody knows because nobody can actually check him. Nobody can actually supervise his own status. Imagine that kind of scenario.
And the whole time the way we work with the war and everything.
Thank you. The most traumatic era in Sierra Leone was when he was the only psychiatric doctor in the entire nation. So just imagine that. But anyway, that's another discussion for me to know for see there is only one pediatric surgeon in Sierra Leone. That's not a question for another discussion. But okay, more move away from Dandy. One thing I want to make reference to, I know say Ishmael bring come the scenario of the blind people in terms of actually capacity. What not the one?
Capacitate them.
Yes, in terms of making them able to generate fund or generate income for making them able to sustain the beginning life. But I think it's the other way around because I feel say it made the scenario to the blind specifically because the Pekin and get for follow the blind parent them for go big or lead them to the way for make money. What if me talk about the middle class society in Syria is very paramount because in my opinion, if the funders then focus because we get certain things the way they make parents lose their respects in Sierra Leone. It's nothing other than financial status. Now, the one major key
every human being.
Well, I would say parents specifically because it's time for look at the Pekin and the parents' situation wherein the parents not able to afford for the Pekin. They made the Pekin on streets. They made the Pekin disrespecting parent them. They made the Pekin get no value for your parents them because your parents can't provide you a meal. You have to go and find a meal and provide for your parents. That is where the problem is. So I think overall, we have to start to look at a few things. One, all the funding where they come for the picking them. If we say we channel that funding to the parents them and empower the parents them for making them become financially stable, I think that will be one aspect of making sure that the homes are stable. Let me give you an example in the UK. There was a time when parents were suffering to look after their kids because they're not paid well. They don't have enough money. We go left behind for take them picking into holidays, for buy them picking them gifts, for give them picking that extra kids we get for cost money. So what's happen is the kids are looking out of their homes for extra gifts, for extra facilities, for extra bonuses, for extra things that they're going to be attracted to, where they lead most of them to gang-related issues, abuse to the public, abuse to other kind of abuse, where definitely we don't say now because of funding at that particular home, they make the beginning, they reach out to other areas of access to funding. So government realizes since that problem they get for exist and it get for big problem with the homes them, then start for look at minimum wage. Now that minimum wage, now the essence of actually creating additional income for families so that they will be able to afford certain basic necessities for their kids. Because when you cannot afford for your child, you literally have minimum control over that picking. So me on thoughts, now the fact say we for begin empower the parents them financially. If we get $30 million for fund picking project, look, we put $20 million of that money there into the homes of picking the way. Sometimes if you get 5 picking, you know they work, then they can give you maybe $5,000 and make sure so you start off a serious business when they go for monitor, then facilitate for make you able to get proper income plan for make you able for begin sell. You make business and you do something where they generate regular income for make you able for look after them beginning. Because the whole idea that for provide food, shelter, and education for them beginning. So if we say free education, until we not go for worry about again, because what's going to happen in Europe, parents work their socks off for save for them picking them when they begin go to the stage of getting to university. So financially, they have to now decide who side them picking for go get education. Taking into consideration, you're not going to go worry about paying that £50,000 loan after you don't study done, but we will help for facilitate for some of you education, wherein we pay your rent, we pay your this, or we pay your fees, so you don't finish uni with debt. So the parent is able for work and save, because they're not for worry about education until you reach your university level. But in Sierra Leone, it's totally different. Free education, but they worry for you begin, but books, but meal, but uniform, but everything. And then you not get time for freedom. So you not financially get the control over that picking. Imagine that picking all 8 years. Now you get for go sell, for make una can cook. If the begin says sit down, they're gonna say they sleep like yes, papa tired. You dey beat and say die? No, you can't. So the child actually dictates what happens at the home because now the armor, now they bring food come. So if we begin look at the channel of financing the family, the parents, make them financially viable for able to sustain the household, then the beginning will begin get that basic facility there. Because it means if the mama don't get no money, it gets the beginning go school, they go doing business. Before the beginning come out school, they don't sell, they don't make 2-3 things, they don't come back home, they don't prepare food. The kids don't have to worry about going fetching water in the morning, go sell after they come out school. When they come out school, come 10 hours for me and study, but then we'll get enough time because they know for say, all what thing they go for go do during school or after school hours can be provided for from their parents. So we go for beginning to look at the other side of the coin. Do we just spend the money on the kids and go into the vicious circle of coming back to it when they become teenagers? Or we empower the family then and make sure say we're able to give them money, find that money when they take for picking them, and build them financial capacity so they can be able to look after the picking and self-step where they're going to skit. Because now what you not get, now make the picking they're going to skit. So if they want for eradicate poverty for real, they should create loan facilities for parents, for families, for able to go and take loan and get them invested into their own business where they want, and monitor those businesses and make sure so they provide channels of supplies for the goods and services of the businesses the way parents need to do, so they're able to sustain their homes. Instead of we pour millions on the picking them, and then the parents then left on their own, then still not get that parental responsibility right for look after them picking them because they not get the physical finance for able to tell the picking and say, go school tomorrow, and they pay you fees, and they buy you books, and they buy you uniform and give you lunch. So Joe Blocks when they come up from nowhere, they can say, hey, bro, if you can't find no Monica go to men and say he go to down school. So that time they now you now not responsible for that picking lunch. So say the beginning of the 14, 15, 16, you don't begin watch up. You don't have begin to say, hey, this woman are for me, or una men and for me. I go to can't give lunch. You begin paying school fee, you begin giving lunch. Say the beginning of 15, 16. Now touch the begin touching also because you don't full grown now as far as I'm concerned. Just the beginning of secondary school, you don't turn in left. So these are some of the things we really have to look into. It's not just about pouring money to the beginning side. Let we empower the families themselves as well, because the papa and the mama, now they make sure say that Pekin they get food. But if you're not getting money, you literally push the Pekin them indirectly at some points. We not even they understand say these are subconscious decisions made by parents, where they don't have a choice. They accept pledges on the basis of their kids. Some man will say, well, okay, can't take me Pekin for men. Because you take away that burden. You don't know which kind of situation that Pekin will go find himself. Femi mentioned say earlier on, we get the income where we don't tire for spend, where we don't own, because we don't for go buy Ferrari because you don't mean nothing to you again anymore. But think about this. 40, 50 years ago, people in the way they take picking them on, not necessarily can live by their house. When they pay fees for them picking them, the scholarship were in turn. People in the great scholarship, they will say, oh, someone else will say, man, you papa and pay me university, if it's done. I did not have a clue. The only reason why it happened, because some of you paying and get that extra income. When they feel to say, I'm not getting nothing for those income, but I came for support a family, a man, a student, a young man were determined for go school and paying fees. It didn't affect me at all, because there was extra where the paying go able for spend. So if you give power to those families financially, then they will be able to maintain the household. But when poverty begins to struck now every household in salon, yes, the war is an element, but also after the war, we're not able to rebuild with integrity and with status and with capacity for understand, say, not to picking for feed the home. Every parent now see, oh, they don't ban me house. Oh, me people they don't die. Oh, this don't happen to me. The one itself where they cut them and then cut them foot there. Then they still go out and try for fetch. Then they still go out and try for make money. We realize say blind school been in a salon. Disability be there exist in a salon 30 years ago, but it was not in the eyes of the public because they were creating stuff. They were weaving baskets, doormats, making stuff for furniture for homes. When did all that stop? They were not as dependent like they are now today. Will not be the same as Shekasti Street, Spadema Road, Shekasti, all kind of corners now they are, because the dependency has become so paramount now to them, because they also know that there is funding where people in the go take for them. So why do I need to go to work? Imagine you call people in Africa and just say, hey, me, I'm not going to work, I like now work, I'm not going to work. Hey, let God give you work. People pray for you to have jobs so that you can fund them. Just because they don't want to do nothing. Not pray for me like I work, because when you pray for me for like I work, now for me I forget extra money for you. You see that you fall in. You pray no more for the people and get work. So these are some of the things we have to look into carefully.
All right, T-Boy, I see T-Boy don't baranta T-Stars, but the only thing.
Come on, man.
I think Lion sing the support. Now we get us sing the We Mighty Blackpool. Now we get T-Stars. But you absolutely, you said a Mighty Blackpool, Femi? Clap for you. But T-Boy, you absolutely right. Okay, on this one, for the first time I agree with you. Although if me go do them in a practical sense, there are a few things that we will switch here and there.
Obviously.
I
said obviously, it doesn't have to be the same.
I totally agree with you on the concept, and obviously it's just supporting Ishmael Morgan Heritage self in the say. You see, poverty now we don't want to accept say we poor. Not for the country is rich in natural resources, but Sierra Leone is poor. Sierra Leoneans, we poor, the poverty, the bottom of the barrel poverty, abject poverty, is huge and rampant in the country. So that
is it based on the fact that we are poor, or based on the fact that we are poor because of we are neglecting our responsibilities to make sure that we have...
At the camp,
okay.
We poor first, as we poor, we not get money first. People not get money. That is the reality. We get people away they marry.
No, not poor.
People, calm down, T-boy. Wait, I'll give you chance. No, so I'll give you chance. I want to agree with your points. Now, I agree.
Yeah, but not poor. I disagree. So we're not poor. We're not poor.
T-boy, a big left.
I swear, Juma, not poor.
In comparison with other countries, we get beaucoup poor people then.
We are making ourselves poor, but
no, at the camp, now different things first. We will come to that conversation the other time. I agree with you on this.
Okay.
We poor. And agree with you, say, incentive, for let people able for treat them picking right, for let people able for do the right things for them picking them, it's necessary in Sierra Leone. But that's something we get for be well organized. Because one thing when a big motivation, whether we like them or not, one thing where they motivate Salon people, na money. You understand? Majority people are motivated by money in Sierra Leone, whether you like it or not. You are even the other way if you say get, it's still one for take na you your hand and put na in pocket as well. So I agree with you. Say, if we say, like how Abdullah suggests, so say, we give 100,000, for example, every month, like a welfare system, yeah? Say 100,000 leons, that's an example, okay? For every picky way you get, now you also they go school, the picky no they sleep na treat, then the picky perform well in school, they get above 60% on in grades. You are guaranteed that money until the picking finish. Yeah? Secondary school, for example. This is an example of the Meko. You know what will happen? See, boy? People and go lend people and picky. Like how people and they give away and picky say, you go take care of them because unable for take care. Go put on school, go sell for you, do you sleep to you, and that is people they go begin lend other people they picking their cow, they say they are lend me picking. We are seeing that already. Usa ude na the diaspora. Where we get welfare system. Some people will feel say they're able for milk the system. Then they go lend people picking them or then they go buy. Then they go buy social security number, they say, okay, lend me social security number, la put you picking them to me, so I they file tax. Me tax go boku. People are doing that, sadly enough. So I agree with you, say, if we give parents them, then go for say, okay, rather than go to map understand all time for big, let them house, hey, you go school. Example, T-boy. First, there will be the frown at football, right? We say football, oh, na lucky, oh, na idle business, that this, na that. What begin here is say, then they pay one player £350,000 a week. What's in parent they begin do? Not so them begin to go and beg now say, but go play ball, but if not play, no more one for play. If you not let the school business, let the school focus on the football. The school you go to learn now small. Because money na the motivation. So I agree with you on that aspect. The sad part, we go make them very challenging. Like I always say, you cannot give what you don't have. You need to go bigger to an international institution for say you want for can fund a welfare society. They will not give it to you. That's not the challenging part. So now it come back to what you been the talk. Say, because we dey neglect what we get, now that make we a poor society. And until we're ready for change that mindset, we will continue for remain in this situation that we are in. So it brings me to another question for support your argument again. So you see, Tida, I said I agree with you. Is it that we governments, we people in authority, they deliberately create this, situation of despair, situation of poverty, of misery, just so that they will continue for ask? Because all the one speech you always hear, most of the politicians, well, we are calling on the international support community to support us. We're a poor nation, this, that. So you don't talk final, but then you begin call back, let them help you for provide bed in the hospital, for this, for that. So it come back to the same thing. Is it deliberate? Now make they say, okay, are people creating this situation just to know how they elect the bad statistics, the negatives, like how Ishmael say they play on people the goodness of their heart?
The scenario to that to me is simple.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I take them to the fact that we don't have pride for ourselves as Africans first. And secondly, as individuals, when we give away our dignity for finance,
mm-hmm.
our value becomes zero to whoever the person is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what to make they say so? We not say we come to yes, we still it's time for develop. We totally agree. Yeah? But if we leaders them, they come to the West and tell the West, say, we don't have money for help with people in our country because we poor. We need our support. And then the West, they pull the money, then give them. So, okay, almost in a need. Okay, we need $5 million. For what thing? We need $5 million for tackle teenage pregnancy, for example. And then when you go at the $5 million, una for tackle teenage pregnancy inside 1 year, una need to tackle them for eradicate them totally and entirely. But if you there at an increase of 50 or 60% on the rampage, una for at least begin tackle them for make the other area they come. Una do an evaluation and say it don't begin reduce down to 10%. Yeah? To me, that is a workable progress. It means you are taking the money and you're actually putting it into action. It will reduce the issue of concern. Now, the West, no, they say they need to take, even England, they take loans to Central Bank of England. England is on serious debt right now to the Central Bank. You know what you do? Because they get formation say everybody gets paid during COVID. We not been the woke. We not to because of their fault. But they also create a scheme where they give you crisis loan. It's crisis loan. So they still put you into debt. Even though you defeat and they rescue you, when they put you into more problem. But that's UK. Now let's take Sierra Leone. If we say Salon, as you say we poor, the country poor, we mean they say no, the country not poor. About 10, 15 years ago, Salon, now one country inside Africa, possibly one of the countries in the world, based on the population, where being gets the highest amount of four-wheel drives. In Africa, Salon. And we all know what's the cost of four-wheel drive. Hold on.
No, the challenge.
Poverty in Salon now self-inflicted. What's it make they say so? What's it make they say now self-inflicted from government to down to the layman? If I say I take them from the bottom to the layman, I they make a mistake. But from the top most richest man to the bottom most poorest man.
The top most richest man at Salon.
I don't know.
Okay.
As far as me concerned, salon get no money, man.
Well, so let's begin there first. And I'll tell you, T-boy.
What's make they say so? Money man, the way they claim say they get money in a salon, and for bill with factories.
No, but you talk, this is the current challenge now because you talk about 4-wheel drive. We not get how many people get 4-wheel drive in a salon?
I tell you about 10 years ago. I don't say now.
And let's say 50 years ago first.
Oh, but come on, please, Juma.
Maybe I tell you now. Where you gonna start the country?
Juma, 1 in every 5 vehicles right now in a salon now 4-wheel drive. And they buy cheap back that
looking at the age of them vehicle and they would.
I don't want to know. I don't care. I'm just saying 1 in every 5 vehicles in a salon now 4-wheel drive. And we know the minimum cost of 4-wheel drive in a salon is about $10,000. The minimum cost.
And I tell you back, says some of them 4-wheel drive, then they not cost $5,000. The reason being because the age. Listen. The age of the motorcar, the motorcar are not fit for use in certain countries. Those vehicles are not roadworthy. They're not even licensed them to start.
I totally disagree.
And when you talk about 4-wheel drive as well, when you talk about 4-wheel drive,
I totally disagree with you. You know why they totally
countries too.
You know why they totally disagree
with you? T-boy, let's accept it.
We are not poor. We are making ourselves destitute, but we are not.
All right.
And they totally argued on it because
we'll come to that topic there. That a lot come back to the Peking topic.
Now the Peking topic, then they lead you to this poverty.
So, the 4-wheel drive example that you are making, T-boy,
it is based on poverty because let me tell you one reason. The people that way they come for can't fund the Peking them. Where would they can suppose for talk about so? They're all from the manager to directors to board members, they're all drive 4-wheel drives then. And we cost a minimum of $25,000.
Boy.
You really serious about solving the problem?
So they one that they not told them they can't solve the Peking problem. With
then they can't the money.
Then they intervene, intervention.
No. They are coming with the finance. They are the one facilitating the financial aspect of that particular project's day.
Do you know why they're coming first to the country?
Why?
Then they are coming because we don't complain, say, we get Boku picking the way they suffer. When we in abject poverty, we don't complain. So then they can intervene. And
if
when
they can intervene, then they can show
are not the problem.
If they can for intervene, they can't show you luxury. How we going to adapt to what they can't tell you for do? They can't show you luxury.
So they are not the problem. So
but they are the problems. They are the contributing factors of the problem.
Money, if they decide for
they are the contributing factors of the problem. Because when they come,
we create a problem for ourselves.
Earlier on,
no one for grief for solve them.
Earlier on,
as well.
Earlier on, Femi say everybody in
Femi
say everybody in Sierra Leone want for take up an NGO job. Why?
Yes.
Why?
All right. The reason is it mentioned one of the reasons because you get a country where the government forced not to provide job for.
I'm not saying government to. I said NGO jobs.
You ask me why, and they tell you why.
Okay.
For like the person they create a job for himself with the illusion. Firstly, he say one for help. Secondly, look at us saying that the fastest way that one day for make money for himself for survive for his family.
NGO jobs, right?
Yes. Okay. And every other job in Sierra Leone too.
We really say every other job. I say NGO job is specific.
You want to
be specific, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
so
okay.
NGO jobs.
The NGO jobs then, as I said earlier on, now the people them where they facilitate all the help where they gear towards covering some of these issues that we talk about on the development of kids in Africa, right?
That my question to you now: the NGOs that they create the problem, or there has been a problem where they can't intervene in.
Okay, I mean, say the intervention wrong, but the intervention to the problem.
You're trying to shift the blame. That's why let's accept that.
If I want to shift the blame, I will tell you periodically. Say yes, the NGOs are the problem in the world. Now then they make poverty in the door because salon. Now the NGOs and they make the problem as salon not the door because one now then they facilitate and fund the government institutions that were supposed to look after picking them, and then they give them money, fitting fatter, and then they do jack with the money, and they continue for giving them money. So you tell me where are the problem?
So now your government na a problem because your government not care for your people.
Juma, if you get you host, one statement what they make now, I will keep me much quiet. Juma, at the count to you, I say, Juma, I get problem now with host. You say, what not a problem? I say, actually, we became don't eat for 1 week. I need money. Okay, see, what much money you need? I need $5,000. Because that $5,000 day, I take out, I go buy 10 bag rice, 5 butter per mine, 10 cartoon fish, and XYZZZ. So I'll be able to feed me picking them for the next 6 months. It's okay, see, but no problem. I give you $5,000, I they put $2,000 on top for make sure say you able to forget surplus. And look and see how you go able for manage them for maintaining your household. Yeah? That's my request to you. And you give me another kind gesture. Okay, the $5,000 you want, yes, it will solve your problem, but I will give you another backing, supporting one for able to make you able to sustain the problem. And then you give me the money cash. I left.
Right.
The next day when you see me, I don't go spend $3,000 for that money day. I don't buy one new brand car. Not for the purpose, but I don't buy a new brand car. Then, for the $1,000, I think I buy one bag dress. I buy one bag of all the things I don't talk inside the bag. And then 6 months later, I come back to you. But this time when I come back to you, I come back to you with a brand new car. What it drive? I can't park. I said, Jim, I don't come back. Oh, that money they give me, it not been due to God, it done. Then it's okay, T-boy. How you spend that money? I'm not making sure of the car. But I give you a wrong statistical data of how I spend the money.
Right.
I convince you.
Right.
You they see physically say I am lying to you. But there is a paper trail where I go believe say now this and this and this you don't I don't take any money. I don't ask you no question. But you motorcar, but your lifestyle, how your life don't change, but you picking and still a staff.
Right.
Then I allow you for go. I give you $10,000 now this time around.
Right.
So are they help you or are they destroy you?
Okay, let me ask you a follow-up question for answering your question. T-boy, when you come to me with all the, requests for assistance, in the goodness of my heart, I help you. But then you decide for go buy motor car, you go, the other way you fly with her, you go Dubai first, you go enjoy, before you decide for car, you catch up, say, I need for buy. By the time they can, you picking them, I use, they all don't die. Now me kill you picking them, or now you kill you picking them?
Now you kill me picking them indirectly because if you not before give me that money, they will.
So now me kill you picking them
indirectly.
Okay, all right.
Because if you not give me that money, they
audience for judge.
If you not give me that, money, they you see something that we can say money then they lead to some.
But now you say now just now for let we help, let we support families them for take care of them picking them. But then you they beat yourself back into the same.
No, I say give them businesses the way you they monitor and evaluate how the business is then they go. You teach them how to manage their finance. Now, so I say, and also just give them money. I say, give them money and make them get financial capacity for look after them picking them. And you monitor the business where they give them for make them get financial stability. Right. That is what you're doing. Okay. Not just to give and allow it to go. You give it and you monitor and you make sure say it's stable. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money.
Just last week,
that's not the thing where the West they do to Africa because they get their own strategic reason why then they fund Africa. So when they continue for funding,
not a reason. They're not responsible for Sierra Leone's problem. We're responsible for our own problem.
No, they are responsible for our problem because that's why they're thinking they are the ones solving our problem.
They are not responsible for our problem. Now one follow picking them suffer. Now one follow picking them sick. Then go to hospital medical nowadays.
I disagree.
Okay. Now, just last week or so, an audio came out where UNDP, you understand me, question because the money where they give, they're not spending for the right reasons.
So let UNDP stop their funding. Simple.
But UNDP highlights that they're going to stop their funding.
When UNDP stop the funding, what's going to happen next?
Waiting people say, waiting Sierra Leone really suffer.
We go kill yourself. Now UNDP born with.
No, let Femi come in. No, let
UNDP born with.
Let Femi come in. All right, Femi, they try for adjust force, fumble them. You see, the conversation about one issue or topic is not just straightforward. So these are the arguments, these are the things, the way they come in for let you know, say it's a bigger issue, a bigger problem, and we all get to roll for play. If we get for change, we picking them future, then destiny. So this is what it is. Over to you, Femi, when you're ready.
So, Juma.
Yes, please.
What thing you say? There's many roads lead to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
What does you say?
Yes.
So we have you and T-Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Depends serious argument now, so and una no left and give una safe. But really and truly, una they argue. I don't see them so over 10 minutes to listen to una. They go back and forth. They interrupt una self. They beat herself over the head. But una they argue almost on the same path.
Correct.
You're almost saying the same thing. Tibo gets very good points. You said get very good points. But, you know, in Tibo in defense, we don't become a nation. We depend, and a people, not just a nation. So I didn't just talk about the administration or the government. But I think, say, as a people, we don't become donor dependent.
Correct.
Yeah? All thing na for give.
Right.
When you phone ring, and number call from we country of birth, Sierra Leone, I can bet you say 7 out of 10 them now because somebody want make you send something.
Okay.
Understand? When we're in Sierra Leone, the amount of people that would give 10,000 for day. Our friends, possibly we see a treat. We can down Okada, we can down Keke, we can down taxi. We tell them keep the change. If you count for the day, how many leons will just come on a yarn and go out? I wonder if you not go reach for the week. If you average them, you not go past $100.
Yeah, you pass because, like, I can tell somebody, I say the money we me they spend na salon and they spend na the US.
That's the point I have for make.
90% of the money not to on me safe.
Yes. So how many people in the US do you stop and give $1 to?
I can't remember the last time because me person got me.
So until you go see one bigger man, one bigger woman, one picky way done a cardboard. So until you go say okay, you feel you come out Starbucks, whatever, you come out na cash point because in Sabi position is safe. Now they invite a place and you come on McDonald's. You understand? You get small change that you give. 1 pound, 2 pound, $1, $5, whatever, you just feel sorry at you give.
Right.
But how many times will you do that in one day? In Sierra Leone, from when you wake in the morning, say you go sleep, you
spend money.
You understand? I'm not saying it's wrong to give. I'm saying that we have become a donor-dependent country. We governments them don't become that anything they want. They can't say, okay, let's put a strategy in place for say in 10 years time we want to tackle this thing. We're not saying a big money, it will not happen overnight, but this is our plan towards make it happen in 10 year time. And we're going to put small money in place, stay happen. Besides, what they're going to do now, they're going to go to that funder and say, can I give you this money also for can do this here? So instead of they actually put in necessary work for go do and our people have become similar. Yeah. There's so many people where they write paper every day for funding a salon. Man, people in a salon, we don't talk experts them for write bigger paper.
I've been not telling you so before. I say the only way they get fast and for ask a Sierra Leone and say write a proposal. The turnaround time is less than 24 hours. You'll get a ready available proposal. But when you ask and say, can you report how you spend that proposal? They'll tell you, say the printer not the work, lights not it today, the person will get the data they upline, you not carry it, then they stop picking your phone calls and so on and so forth. I'm aware of all those issues, yes.
So yes, so literally, as I say, we don't become, everything now. We need somebody for giving. You understand? Gone are the days where you want grab and go earn a living. Everything is quick money, and what's happening to quick money? It gets spent quickly because you don't know the value of farm. Yeah, you don't know the value of farm. That man within a farm where they slave under hot sun, where rain they beat him, rain season, where they planting rest, go or in castle leaf or in pesticide leaf or whatever they do for produce, for go na market, go sell. He values that 30,000.
Agree.
Where he gets. The day he gets 1 million, he go value him. But if somebody come out Freetown, calm na village, can say, yeah, 1 million, he will spend that 1 million day different to the 1 million where he taking for dig the ground for make.
Right.
Because fast money goes fast. Hence why, when you talk, say, you give Tibo that money, Tibo go take, I go buy Range Rover. Sports, not just Range Rover. You go buy Range Rover Sports. You understand? And we all know the value of Range Rover Sports. And the value, some of these cars aren't roadworthy. But na salon motorcar value, they depreciate, they kind of depreciate now. You go see 20 almost car and go tell you say they want $10,000 for that. You go and say you must be mad. But that's it.
Right.
If you want Jeep, you have to pull the thousands. And then if you sell like Leon safe, $9, and they charge you. You understand? So the value does not drop in Sierra Leone. But as T-Boy say, I don't know the statistics, but most of our people drive these cars.
Right. So, I not dispute anything where you say on that note.
Hold on, let me drop. So as I say, T-Boy is right. If you give T-Boy that money there, he go take them, he go spend them, they spend them quickly. And the reason why they spend them quickly, because he has not earned it. He don't feel the pain I forget them. Then he say, the Englishman their money ask for pulling the hand compared to the Americans them. I guess it's something that because we taxes are heavy in England.
That's not the case.
So well done. So it's known that we pay more taxes than most people. Yeah. So literally, if you pay that amount of tax, and it's hard to earn that money there, it should be hard for you for spend them. Yeah. If it be hard for you, you can't just go give it, but still we give it away. But our people have become so dependent that they're not even a value which you give them. You go send £50 for somebody, you go say, but left out, you says family day, man. You know, believe. If I make I do this one, at £50 he send me. You don't know how much Femi has worked for that money day. You don't know almost percentage of Femi in salary after tax, that £50 day. You understand? So there's many things we don't because you don't work for us, so you don't value them. So when it comes to you, you not get the right mindset for no say. Yeah, but if you had to work for it, it will be different. So I think I agree with T-Boy. Say we need for make people and begin learn for work for a living. And yes, you're right. We need the jobs and for make the work for them. So that's where we need to start. I've not talked about it before. So we need to provide meaningful work so that people are able to achieve a living wage. Yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you.
After that, then we go begin value them money and spend them rightly. Then we just sit down no more the bread we earn and expect somebody for put something inside the hand.
Right. I totally agree with you. But the thing with my own point is two. Firstly, I still stand by that. By every extension with so many other countries, if you put in at that scale, Sierra Leone is poor. No matter how many people get four-wheel drives in Sierra Leone, you get people that will get four-wheel drives and better and more four-wheel drives than other countries. Salon, if you not take them, you they more or less sabi all the people that will get motokana salon first. That for sure you for say enoboku first. Okay, now come to the issue of giving and supporting people that needs them or they request. You cannot blame the person where they come for can help you say and create your problem. That is my point. If an NGO come or a charitable organization come for can help you for solve a problem in a country, you cannot castigate that person, they blame and say, I create a problem. We need for start for take responsibility, say, we problems in our country, now we the create them. Donors, whether genuine donors or genuine NGOs coming in, if there was not a situation in the first place where then go see an opportunity for coming, say, oh, look, use NGO way for coming, look, I exploit this country, they wouldn't have come to your country in the first place. If your country been there, na country where they a middle level income country, they're not gonna jump can your country, for come for say that they can't support you. They would have gone to other places or then for bring can something where go they at par with what you want. But when you create a miserable society for yourself, don't blame the NGOs or the donors because they don't care about you. You are not their priority. Then they can do, waiting them feel for can do. Your problem is your problem. Take responsibility and act on it for solve them. Because the reason I say this, T-Boy, we are good at shifting blame to other people and not taking responsibility for our issues. Over to you guys again.
Juma.
Yeah.
15 years ago in the UK, right up to before 2000, and possibly 2005 to 2010, England to 2010, no, from 2010 to 2015, England may face the highest form of child poverty. You know that?
Yeah.
Okay. What can they do for solve?
You tell me.
Then go ask International or World Bank for me and get a loan for sorts out the child poverty where they increased.
I didn't listen you. Make the.
No, I'm just asking a question because you go answer me yes or no because you know.
Listen, T-Boy.
No, I'm just saying.
You make comparison with a country for.
No, I'm asking the question. Okay, go on, Femi.
Yeah.
I get the answer. See this T-Boy, that damn foolish guy. Anyway, so Juma, Adika Epianda. T-Boy, who's here? You say 2010?
Answer in the first place.
You say 2010?
2010, 2015. Right
okay, so literally, in Juma, in defense, the government made the people of England poorer than they were.
Thank you.
The government in London, now England, changed their support strategy.
Yep.
So council houses, we get 3 bedrooms. Yeah. If now you picking no day now you host, then they charge you for the 3rd bedroom.
When a bedroom tax
unoccupied. Yeah. So basically, and most of these people in council houses are, they earn less than, the average. Hence why, they were supported. So imagine now then they can't charge you for that room that we get. So basically, they force people to either give up then 3-bedroom flat and move into somewhere smaller, or pay for that extra room there. And because they not get money for pay, so it comes out of the benefit system. But again, so that was the government and strategy. We don't remember again we say minister for tackle.
Okay,
but
so you know it's
so
be the issue.
Hold on. So they made people them slightly poorer than they were. So again, for back your statement, as if we relate unto Sierra Leone, if the government don't provide jobs for our people and give them meaningful employment, they are contributing to our people not developing. So we can't go blame that person where they come out yanda overseas come with in country money or in private money say one can't help. We can't blame these people if they want to help us out of our problems. But really and truly, the problem then are we all they make them. In you're right, we can't blame these people. We have to blame ourselves as a people, and we get for blame we leaders them for not providing. If you born picking, you get for shelter them, you get for feed them, and you get for allow them for grow up into a man or woman we go serve you tomorrow. I not believe say that whole trend gets followed in Sierra Leone and in most of Africa.
Well, Femi, I think that is one of the reasons why I said, now we get with problem, because if you born picking, like we leaders and saying the lead way, how are you leading us? Tell me how. When you can't even provide food for me, I beg you to go big. You want to expect you ask me, Papa? When you say that you born me, you're responsible for me. And then you go beg back to me uncle, let me uncle can't feed me. Or you go beg boss, when no one else have been me, for can't feed me. You want to expect you?
It's over to you, Juma.
And then you drive one big SUV. And then you never for feed me. You want to expect you? Come on, let's be honest.
But when we talk about the
let's be honest. That's just a practical scenario.
Now answer your question first. You scenario with the cleaner. Do you know why the councils they mostly decide for do that? Because of the recession. Okay, central government not be the funding. All right, I'll tell you that one because I suffered the recession. I lost my job because of that. 60% where the government change then kind of cut the funding force. So local governments them been get for Fenway for raise funds. So council tax first now been the only way. Two for cut down on other loopholes them. And then see for say there are people occupying homes, you understand, where they not actually need. And you get a lot of people on waiting list. You understand? When need their homes, then they get them. So it was kind of like a trade-off and push you. You find out, say, during that same time day, your council tax or you dirty safe, you get for pay for certain things, then Panama and all that thing and they. So all of those things, council tax went up, loopholes them in the way they look. Because wait me, I'll tell you, because of the recession, so when they cut by you benefit, now then still they actually pay you rent through the benefit, but because the money therefore circulates, just like now in the United States, people don't even understand why they created the stimulus check system. It's not because the government was generous, but they had to give money to the people, so the people were able to spend that money there for keep the economy alive, for let we not go rock bottom. So
and
that's
not just keeping the economy alive, but restoring dignity.
Well, it is the same thing, but again,
the economy is different from restoring dignity. Because the economy evolves.
Restore dignity because most of the money that they get, most of that stimulus package where they give, some people went and bought TVs for it. They go buy TVs.
It's restoring dignity. You know what TV is at home? These are homes without TV.
No. You are mistaken, T-boy.
I am not mistaken.
Someone who had a TV went and bought. I'm telling you, I'm living it. These are things they decide. Some people went and bought what you call a 75-inch, not because they don't have a TV at home. They do have. Some people went and bought the latest Nike shoes, not because they don't have shoes. They do have. Over to you, Femi.
Juma T-boy, I the one una. Una left for the brilliant topic Kasuka, una they make me at one. Seriously, and today they are make me at one. So I worked throughout lockdown. So when they talk about your stimulus package, we self get something we call furlough nayaso. Yeah, right. It's similar thing. So we keep the government bringing the furlough system for ensure say we keep people them employed, for keep so we don't have a massive recession in the future. So people keep their jobs, then go able to spend, the government's going to make money in the long run, rather than get a depressed state and nobody not get money, nobody can spend, and then it just creates havoc. But as T-boys say, as you say, people then misuse this stuff. So for somebody like me, we walk throughout, I supported the NHS at some point, training them on technology so that they will use this virtual space world they enjoy right now. So because some of we not begin, they do the entire so before long years before lockdown begins. So when lockdown begins, they looked at us and say, "On I can't train with people in house for use the technology of TD." So we had to go and support some of their hospitals with a mini bill, Nightingale hospitals and stuff. Apart from Dandy, when all Dandy done, most of we staff them in their own furlough. So the few of we not been there on furlough were literally working every day. We were class essential workers. I had a letter to state say me an essential worker. So if police stop me in a street, I'll pull that letter there, show them. he lets me through, because we worked throughout the year. Some people ended at us, but they received a full salary. Although the government paid the 80%, I think, then the employer top up 20%. So they had a full salary sitting at home. But what's going to happen come a few years' time? We all get for pay them money, then they back.
True.
Yeah, so as I've been talking earlier on, but with taxes, our taxes are going to go up for reimburse the government funds with them pull for pay for all renting and day.
Correct.
So self-employed people were given a stimulus package. I don't know what the exactly name. Restaurants were given massive dividends. You understand? For allow them for stay open, because they normally allow them for get so many people into the venues them. So when they begin open to them, initially everything was closed. So they gave these guys, I think some had £30,000, some had £50,000. So imagine almost
to stay in business, yeah.
Yes, to keep afloat. Some of them businesses end up locked, but a lot of them take their money then they. What I'm trying to say is these monies have to be paid back by all of us. They know they go talk, say, T-Boy, Juma, Una not being received, but Femi receive. Right. So because Una not be received, Una not go pay, but Femi go pay because he receive. No. All of us are going to pay towards their money then they. We Femi enjoy, but Una not enjoy.
Right.
So you understand? So it's not, I would say it's not a fair thing.
Correct.
In a way, yeah? Because certain people, the nurses, doctors, they went to work.
Right.
Yeah, they went to work to keep the things flowing. Yeah, some of them gave them, benefits. McDonald's give them small thing every day. We stood at our doorsteps and clapped them every Thursday, But at the end of the day, they risked their lives. They went to work every single day. Some of us stayed at home. And then in 2-3 years' time, we all tax get for go up and we all get for contribute.
Right.
So as I say, it's one thing having a recession in issues in the country, but eventually this money gets paid back. But in Africa, does that happen?
That's the thing.
In Africa, we don't see that. So our government they have to pay it back, but then they worry because not to then get for paying back.
Of course not.
Somebody's going to pay back in 50 years' time. They don't care.
Right.
But it's their kids and their grandkids, or our kids and our grandkids. So we think we left this bigger thing and try for begin earn our wage. I'm not saying the UN and co should be chased out of town. No, I think they do a fabulous job. But I think as responsible people, we all have to be responsible for okay. One day we'll get for pay this thing back. So why we go take something we get for pay back plus interest? Why can't we just live by what we need and go earn them? So not buy the necessary latest Jeep, we not buy the latest iPhone, we not buy the Prada, we not buy the Armani. You understand? We buy what we need, so that tomorrow will not get for pay extra for them. So I'm in T-Boy side on this. I think we don't get a lot from the donors.
We not disagree with what T-Boy say, and we don't go around this same conversation. The only thing for me now, the South side, they are passion the blame. That's where I have an issue with, because if we come
let's agree to disagree.
Yes. If we come to Salon, for example, it is so sad that you'll prioritize buying an $80,000 Prado, but then you have only just one pediatric surgeon at the country. Yeah, you prioritize a Prado Jeep, a Prado V8 one. Then una spend time, they argue whether na new one una buy na brand new second hand or na third hand. Una still not able to make up una mind. Wait till I spend $80,000 for buy this one green Jeep on. But you have one pediatric surgeon. You want to say something?
So T-Boy is right then.
Like I say, you say.
So T-Boy is right. They're not responsible for managing the money, so we should stop giving them the money.
But my point is, you not go blame the person where they can't give the money. The person where they can't give, if you say, I they give this money, like go waste, and me get money for waste, I they give go waste, then are your own business now and day. Not so that. Yes. Yes.
Juma.
Yes.
What if you get an alcoholic dependent person? You they get money. Hold on. You they get money or a gambler. A prolific gambler. You they get money every time. You go use the money do the same thing. You go carry on the gear.
Femi.
No answer the question, will you?
Femi, I come. Femi, I'm not a judge person to start with. If you can't tell me, say you angry. Okay, if I bring religion come first to it. As a Muslim, then say I'm not for judge person. Alex, if I not for say you're not alcoholic, you're not drug addict and all that. But if you can't beg me, say you want for it, you angry. If I get it should be my responsibility to give it to you. I give you with all intentions, saying I angry. I'm not for judge you, say not to eat you and for go eat because I know you say an alcoholic. Because then the bad force for that judge you say you they take I go drink rum. So if you take I go drink rum, it's on you. What me give you for me intention was for you to eat. You angry, you want for it. Now then they give you. So if you take them, you go, you drink alcohol, they take matches, you burn yours, you die inside it. That is your problem. You can't blame me. I cannot go to hell for that. So now the religious part now they take to you so. So as a government, like how we get what you call them, Ebola been they struck the other time. They gave people money, right? But they decided to use the money for other things. And people were suffering and they die. Would you blame the donors for coming into help? You can't blame them.
We can't. We can't. Seriously, we can't. But again, as I say, Juma, if I come out, because this also, if it don't happen to me, I come out inside McDonald's, inside Marks and Spencer, somebody sit on a door. He looked like he had one too many to drink, but he later on gone, he gets in card, forget money, this and that. Yeah, he says, I'm hungry. I can't remember with him marked the card. Yeah, this was maybe a couple of years ago. But I remember the thing because it didn't shock me. Because I go buy something where I not be really and truly need. At least I go buy a sandwich for lunch. I not be angry. I'll just go out for lunch. So I actually gave him the sandwich.
Yeah, so the one.
The man not great taker. He tells me the money wants.
Yeah.
So I tell him, sorry.
There are people there who are exploited.
I tell him, sorry, I can't give you the money because I know see you to go put some and drink. So I walked away with my sandwich and my money.
The salon example where we walk in a salon, let me tell you this. That was so painful. This guy, they tell you get amputee, they cut people there and you get genuine people there when amputees. But this guy was faking it. I not be ever know. So it a fall in blow like this. They take bandage, he wrap them. They put them. So when you see them, you they really know say this. This guy was coming to our office. Apart from waiting with the gear, I was taking out of my pocket the give this person. Okay? I meet him man at Pike Street. In the work and I saw the swing hand there. That day, I will not tell you how I felt. People are there that are exploiters, but it does not mean everybody we can ask you for be suspicious about her. Now that's how they say.
Let me give another example. Mumu, that young boy we've been in a Kisi Road.
Yeah,
Mumu where they not move for traffic, not only more. This now other young bobo, possibly early 20s. The first day I see him, he came with dash for you with scream. I said okay, we have the scream. Again in 2000. The next day I see him. But guess what I see where I begin out? Up gone. It is talking to somebody. And I say, oh my God. So this guy doesn't mumu.
So now mumu for the moment.
That's a mumu. It is talk proper one. Unfortunately, couple of days later, they come back like you say, oh. Now that's him they come. And I say, if you reach them, you must go. If I come, if I slap you, you the craze. You go and fake people like watching a mumu. You say, well, let me go. Afterwards. And I made a watching a mumu. You know help me? And I say, really?
Challenge you back.
It challenges me back, Pansari bagging, and it keeps changes on a regular basis. The only reason we make it succeed with that, because of we mentality as civil unions. And we mentality, now when we feel, say, we are gift-driven. So as long as we the give, now so we feel safe like other people in the giving, which is fine. So everybody is abusing that system.
Just like how Ismail say,
But
they say that they prey on people and goodness.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you.
You know,
so me not say for sure. Like I said to you, if now you born me, you never for look after me. And I feel say you supposed for able to look after me. That's the respect what they get for you as Papa. Still no one go no go exist.
Right.
Because guess what? You don't sell me out to the worst. Because what the nation they suffer from, now the people the way they lead we. Now they make the world know for still we are poor. There is poverty everywhere in the world. California, when the most expensive city, get the highest amount of homelessness. Just a stone throw over the bridges of the multi-million complex is full of homeless people. You don't
need to tell me about that.
Well, I'm telling you because you know. So I'm not telling you. You know. So basically, when we look at all these countries, but we still feel say they are the most developed, there is abject poverty. There are places in Europe where people when they rip wallpaper, they eat them because it gets starch.
Yeah.
So let we not begin to say salon po. Because the amount of poverty, abject poverty, where then are Europe and some other parts of Asia, we not experience a percent. But with people and they make we feel like for say we are this poor. Salon is not the poorest nation of the world. They are a poorest nation than Sierra Leone. So we therefore begin think and look at some of their issues. Then let we do some small research about what's in abject poverty. And let me make some small comparison.
Okay, thank you so much, T-Boy. Let's go to Femi for round up now. This program not to be mainly for poverty. Poverty is connected with the future and then better one.
Of course.
Do not put things then together.
Of course.
Over to you, Femi.
A couple of things. First of all, poverty, as they say, it is man-made. Yeah. So again, I agree with T-Boy again. Salonopo. Poverty is man-made. We make our people poor. Well, I say we are not talking about administration, but yes, the administration are then supposed to lead we. But we're making our people poor. The West, they say don't do their own for make sure say Africa poor. You understand? So again, but poverty is a mental state. So I think say we need to move away from that mental state for begin, as I say earlier on, for begin Fenway for able to provide for we safe and go away from this bigger. We used to be a proud country, people. I don't think say we get that we that proud again. You know, Mr. Abdullah asked me say how did we become donor dependent? My opinion is we became that way because we got lazy. You know, certain situation then change. As Juma say, in 10 years ago, he got made redundant from work in the UK. But Juma not stop for work. He either retrained, reapplied for a different job, he moved on and he got another job. We had a problem in Sierra Leone with the war, and we still suffer the effect, the causes of the effect of the war, the mental issues that we create. We still haven't been able to move on. Almost here down the line, we suppose for them move away from Dandy now and we begin build, but it's still not happening because our leaders haven't enabled us to do so. As I say, we need for begin provide for we picking them. That means say we leader them for begin for provide for we and not for can give we handouts. Somebody I don't remember what that saying at the chart for 100,000. I'm not in favor of that. I am saying teach the man how to fish, so he can go fish for himself and provide for his family. Provide the so teach him a trade and provide the necessary infrastructure for make sure say he able for put that thing we go land into use, we go get money, because money isn't that paper or that coin, not to money. Money is something that you have that somebody money is something that you have that somebody is willing to give you something else for it.
Yeah.
That's what really money is. So back in the days, people let me trade barter system. I get almost goats. You want goats, but you not get goats. You want one per me goat them, but you get 100 fish. So we trade. I give goats, you give me some fish. And so money begin. So it wasn't literally the physical note. So we need for begin go say, if we go back na farm, let's earn them so and let we go trade them to other people them. And if we look at that on the international scene now, let's grow our industry. Let we grow, as Siboy say, we not poor. We get arable land, we get water full with fish. Say they open John Bosco, not knowing if happy and but at the moment we get water full with fish. We get chicken and gallo. We get mangoes them. We suppose for they produce rice for we 107 million population. So all length so if we do well, as Yusuf was yesterday, if we look after the ground, the trees then go give we return. Exactly. So if we look after the ground, we go able for harvest rice for feed with people them, and some table export rice. But the moment we they buy rice into Sierra Leone, can you believe that? So that's what I'm saying. We need to build our ourselves.
Simple.
We need to build ourselves. When we do so, we will go away from being donor dependent. So as I say, my answer to Mr. Blah, we don't become lazy, especially since the war. Certain things in our life change, and we think say we don't let handle. We just think say, oh well, So it is, they don't cut that person and they don't cut this, they don't take work in away, and we'll just leave. We'll go above so somebody go can give it. We need for shake up. We attire them and start afresh. If that good day luck, find another wood. If you not be farmer, you gone down there, go to fisherman. Find something. There's always another. They say even, they say where a door closes, a window of opportunity opens. Let's start to move and find a way out of this thing. But if we don't see all the NGOs that has to go come fix Sierra Leone, then we're lying.
But Femi, for back that statement we just make, I want to give an example. We salon tight, I come back, I can't go to school. We COVID come, all the work they will do when our average coverage work out of the community at on Taylor. So basically, I'm not just today and follow me and say, okay, rely on handouts. Yes, this is a country where I live where they're able to support me and feed me and clothe me. But guess what? When you apply for I'm going to benefit and go give benefit and saying they give 0.35p. Not go find work. Because basically, they don't tell you, say, they can't even afford for give you the benefit you if want. So all the support network they will see in Europe, not to everybody take them up, because sometimes it leads you to abject poverty. So they actually discourage you, except if you want to really make the system, you know, for do nothing, absolutely. You're not got no value for your life at some point. If you're not physically sick or not able to, you can't rely on benefits.
But that's why they call it a handout. How that's not they make you rich.
No, well, you get some people that way. You get some people that way. Yeah, of course.
If you have a fool yourself.
Exactly. But then, like I say, when you actually rely on, depend on that, it means you are totally not looking at anything other than just maybe yourself.
Right.
But for say a lot of what you don't say so right now, it will lead to the agenda of the goals of the African Union for make sure that the African child gets enough benefits, for make sure that they get an environment that will be conducive and comfortable for them, and give them the livelihood way I feel saying they aspire for. But that is yet to be done in Africa. It is going to be more than a 1,000,000-mile challenge. The only way how that will happen, now when Africans then begin to take their own issues then very seriously and try for implement the structures of what in them feel say will change Africa. One, accepting for the fact that we have enough resources. Forget about the natural mineral resources we'll get, but we have enough resources. Human capacity resources, again, is very much enough in Sierra Leone for me to be able to generate some amount of livelihood for people. We they say jobs not there, work not there. Ishmael make mention of the capacity of educating our kids. We all now know that social media is one of the means of employment all over the world. Now, if you're not IT skilled, you will not have certain jobs. Juma, now 2 years you don't see nothing also, but you work constantly, full time for that matter. So imagine, Juma for Flygo Salon is not salon. It work constantly. It enjoy that peaceful weather in a salon, but it still they work constantly. So we get for look at the capacity of how we they educate with picking them. Not over just make them all just go to lawyer, doctors. Yes, we need all those areas of expertise. I totally agree. Now look, we only get one pediatric surgeon in Sierra Leone. Disgraceful. But we can also increase that capacity there and make sure that we get a number of them. We're not going to be able to count 1, 2, 3. We'll not even think about it. Because we get this youthful and children population which is so massively great. We get a massive chunk of the 7 million people who are in us alone. And they're all there in the hands and liberty of the one that is slightly older than them. And they are the most primarily targeted population in Sierra Leone when it comes to all form of abuse. So we have to really think seriously as a nation. What you want for achieve for Pikinde? What would the talk say? Now then Pikinde also will they build this nation for? Are we building a nation for them for go into and be abused or used as tools of anything what we need for? And then same Pikinde also, they grow for become the adults there where they into all form of crime because we not nurture them when they be younger. We institutionalize them for me them become the failures of what we see so today. And they want to put blame per thing they were not really relevant. I think we have to take things a bit seriously and not just recognize the Day of the African Child, June 16, as a day of just recognizing it, but let's reflect back and see what have we done for change this scenario, for they cannot become the norm in society, because otherwise we're just wasting our time. Donor money is not going to change any nation if that nation is not ready for development. We've seen what has happened during the war, with the war done. Salon was the most funded African nation, possibly the most funded nation in the world, just because they want to use we as a template study for say, this is a country that we are going to change because of the war. So Salon was the first model for actually change and redevelop after that devastating war they will get. But we see say that's not helpful. Rwanda, we don't rely 110% on foreign investment. We don't go through the worst genocide apart from the Holocaust, possibly yet to be challenged. Now then, Sudan, so 15 years down the line, they don't make them country become the theme of how African countries for actually replicates the system of accepting the blame, of taking responsibility of their actions and building on that. So look, not Sudan, they wait for donor money for make salon change. Local not done the way to say, oh, if we not come from the West, we can't help we for local support to pick in there, support them children organization. How many of them there today where they watch this particular program for make we know for say today is the day of the African child? There is no fun in here. So we get for really take things seriously and make sure so we talk about the right stuff, the right thing them. Because me that don't know do even country nation who the toy who don't become so we just they enrich more people individually, but not the nation as a whole. So let's think about it. Otherwise, June 16 will mean nothing. South Africa also starts. Yes, they achieve one thing. They break the barrier of blacks being represented by blacks. That's not one achievement. But poverty is still in South Africa. But guess what? Cohesion is now possibly commonalities between people, the way they spread, they interact, they feed. There is still discrimination, but I don't think apartheid exists anymore. If it does exist, it's possibly now the other way around. So at least they have achieved something. At least they've done something that has created a change in their society. Let's replicate and do something that will make a change in Sierra Leone so everybody will think about them for the rest of their lives. Femi, sorry.
Thank you so much. Well, we will round up. Femi said again last word, and then we will close the program. Over to you, Mr. Palmer.
So, the countries then where they move towards where they develop at a faster rate na countries like India, China, Singapore, and the reason why that because then they use the same thing we get cheap labor. China became the manufacturer of the world. Anything you want, China they make for you. India, they've always been smart people in India. But guess what? This vaccine they will they cry for. Even this one way they make na England. You know suddenly the producer? Na India. Where India gets COVID, this Delta strain where hits them badly. England have suffered because the vaccine they're not able to England again. Because the factory then are India lock. When you call IT, somebody in Singapore or somebody in India picks up the phone. You do call British number now. But now pong yanda. Now there's somebody they call. Only because they learn for talk the language where they talk na England. They might have an accent, but Englishman they're ready for allow dandy because waiting go pay something 10 man with the do that work yanda. Then go pay 3 man for down na England. Because England still gets almost 1 million people unemployed. But they have all these jobs that we then do sent offshore to then continue because of cheap labor. So my question is, why can't we educate our people? Even if now we just asabi answer telephone safe. Then we equip them with space and telephone them and can make contact with them people in the Western world. Say, don't worry, we speak your language. Our kids are educated, our youngsters are educated enough to deal with your help desk requests. As I say, Juma, let's educate our people, provide them with the necessary resources that they need so that they will earn a living. You don't get for car and the money where somebody they earn at the UK or in America. But if somebody they in a salon where they earn, if the norm is $1,000 a month, yeah, if we say that they go around most of we population, I think say we will come out of becoming a donor contributor. So until we for ask the donors them on a left for giving money. Help us build factories. Help us build things that will go employ thousands and thousands of people. So that una no get for the go inside this bottomless pit for the take money can give it. Because it's like say una pockets in deep. But when una say get recession, una the slash with una the give it. So una left for give them money there, so una just help we, let's build. We get the land. Una can't take una money una forgive for the next 5 years. Let's invest this in something we could provide 50,000 jobs in Sierra Leone. That will be my challenge to them.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you both. And it's been an exciting program. And as always, you need to talk about picking business, you not talk about the real issues then. So this don't show the practical things. They see how it take we for go back and forth now. So, and these are the kind of conversation we really expect from the people them we matter, we suppose for make them decisions there. Not to just where they can tell you say jump, you say how high, you say being jump. Because the donor community not interested whether your country go before or not. You know, as long as you need a bargain from a position of strength, you know, you not get that much leverage for question or deny. So the only thing you do, for example, where they can say, oh, then they help you for youth employment program, then you go tell them, say, now what scan I want, now what scan money then they give you. But if they can't tell you, say, then they give you Waska, you say, no, not to Waska, and I help you for can build factory. If they say they know they do them, well, you know, say they're not ready for help. Una continue for do it too, now they do in the best way. One day, una must build that factory there, una educate people them, una get the mechanic they wanna develop for build that factory there. So these are the practical examples. But if you go, because it don't tell like I say, it's a badge of honor, for let we glad the way donor and they give him money, they glad the hey, IMF don't give me 30 million today. Oh, they want to give me 55 million grant. Then they say, look, give them, we want no land, let them come build fish body. You forget, say, waiting there because a few people and they enjoy that money there, but you don't care how it affects the picking them and the land for the generation yet unborn. But we are quick to say, you are the leaders of tomorrow. Leaders of tomorrow, where they go don't die, where the life expectancy right now in Salone, if you live up to 40 years in Sierra Leone, you are very lucky. Other countries then say life begin at 40. Sierra Leone, if you're lucky, you live till 40 years, tell Papa God thank you. So we should not be living in that society, and we therefore make sure, say, where we put people in before, let them do things and not to just waiting there on paper, carried speech, on keynote speech, on, you know, Africa, the Day of the African Child. Oh, we no want for left, no picking bien, all the picking them for better. Have you provided the hospitals for those kids? Any assurance say them picking them, they don't eat 1 meal a day? They're not saying let you take them, go give them, let them go eat, let them go cook. Because it's easy to say the people are lazy, but what have you done to create the platform, you know, the opportunities? These are all aspirations, but for you to meet those aspirations, there are lots of things that you need to put for let we meet these common aspirations that we'll read now so today. So let's respect ourselves. Like I would say, let's try to restore with dignity as a people, as a nation, because we all lost all pride. That's why we depend on Mandela and feasibility business. Simple. Tell me not to shout to now one man send me audio message. By force, he said for Sabia, waiting I name again, no remember. Oh boy, you know na me bo na kintom. Oh all God, remember why be Sabi way small. You see studies that by force this man they tell me audio messages there. Then where I end up, hey, but you know say this is the first one they cancel now. You know, now for remember me now. You say now for do something now. I not Sabi one day see me. So big man, you see in picture. This now older man. Why the money for put credit for send me that message? He would have used it for something else, but they don't show say what you are saying for me.
Juma, you get short memory. The man remember you know remember.
Oh yeah, exactly. He say in member, I mean no member. So you see, he way old past me, your memory like really me in a short term memory I get. Can you imagine? So these are all the practical things then. But if we not create the environment, we picking them future bleak, and we should not have a nation where we picking them not get hope. It's a problem. So until tomorrow, we are with the health show as well. Again, we say the bigger business. It will stop, but we still have bigger for help 1 2 and 1 2. Now for outside people are sick, they need help. Well, you know, we are caught between a situation here. You leave the people, they die. You try to intervene, the one that we're supposed to do it and supposed to do, take them as a norm that it's okay. So catch 22, and we don't want to be in that. So let's everybody join the movement and tell who that they're responsible for create the platform and the environment for let we be better people them and more so for picking them. Bye. Until tomorrow, on behalf of the team, we want to say thank you so much to you all. And we go there so tomorrow back with you. Thank you. Good night.
Yes, this na term for all Salon people and them party them. Sarah Gem Media will be bringing you a variety of programs ranging from documentaries to discussions, interviews, news, views, sports and entertainment. Our programs will contain matters on development, governance, the economy and issues that are of importance to Sierra Leone. So, no left BNO because we get Bebe program then like Salon discussion, meets the ministers, the President's Hour and the Gladi program, Look Me, I Look You. All this they start soon na www.sarahgemmedia.org. Now who's tem these?
The total population of Sierra Leone in 2019 was stated approximately at 7.8 million. And the most common cancer reported in 2018 was breast cancer, with an incidence rate of 25.1% and a mortality rate of 19.2%. Ward 2 at the Connaught Hospital, Freetown, is a female surgical ward that cares for patients requiring breast surgery, chemotherapy, and palliative care. General surgery also admits to the ward as see fit. The ward is in need of a significant refurbishment and has a major impact on patient assessment and delivery of treatment, dignity, comfort, and infection control measures. The current ward area presents a significant challenge to infection control. There is no fit for purpose or adequate personal hygiene facilities. The showers and sanitary areas are in poor condition and are difficult to clean. The flooring is deteriorated. Overall deco and fabric of the walls need repair and full decoration. Furniture, cupboards and shelving require replacement. The sluice, known to be the dirty utility room, is in poor condition and needs replacing. Windows need to be replaced as current windows bring in draughts, dust, debris, mosquitoes and rodents. There is no designated area to provide a day service for patients receiving chemotherapy. Medical supplies is desperately needed. Therefore, we need a total amount of £15,000, which is equivalent to 195 million leones, for this project. This project will focus on women diagnosed with breast cancer and other non-malignant breast abnormalities requiring one or more of the treatment modalities that are currently available. We will also set up a day unit for the administration of chemotherapy and provide training and development to ensure sustainability. Therefore, I am pleading to all individuals, organizations, and local businesses, and every Sierra Leonean and friends of Sierra Leone to make a meaningful contribution that will never go in vain. Ways to contribute will be seen at the end of this clip. I am Aissata Sise Jallo of the Health Show Partnership Program. Remember, your health is your wealth.
To my friend, she was the brightest at our level, even though she was as innocent as the heaven. That did not stop Papa Abu at age 57 to ask for her hand in marriage as she turns 11. Her parents, being naive about this rage, tolerated this marriage, and this destroyed the hopes and dreams of Kadiatu to live like it in Seattle. Instead, she's been used as a tool by an old school. Kadiatu is being used as a bait by her own mate. My friend is being emotionally tortured by this old culture. Old child marriage, it's on the rampage like disease, eating up the fabric of our girl child image, and it's our duty to cage. Let diverge, please be obliged. It is now we emerge from this ancient custom at large.
If not for this dreadful event, Kadiatu could have become president, but now she has been trapped in an old man's residence, like a mosquito in a tent. She is vulnerable, but with her age, she is still able to become that virtuous woman of substance, like Madam Patricia Kaba, Madam Dr. Kadi Sise, Madam Sianyamako Oma, Madam Dr. Sylvia O'Blyden, Madam Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Oh yes, without child marriage, our girl child can still turn into Madam Hillary Clinton, Madam Theresa May. Be it as it may, Madam Condoleezza Rice, let's not be hypnotized, but rather stay wise, for this can only be realized if education is being prioritized and child marriage is being criticized. So please, parents, do not relent, as it is apparent that a girl child can become great if only you patiently wait.
Transform Freetown, our city. Okay, let's go. Undeveloped city, then clean. All clean city develop. If it's a way dirty, that's it. It go add so make we city develop.
Freetown City Council, they work for you. Pay your business license now or before June 30 this year. And your property rate now or before September 30 this year. For make you not pay late fine. Make we work hand in hand for make Freetown better for we all. Join we on this journey for transform Freetown. Make sure say you go straight na City Council building 17 Wallace Johnson Street, Freetown. for pay you city rate and business license, or you can go na the approved bank partner them. If you get any question, one book appointment, or no receive you demand notice yet, call the number here, then go answer all your query. 078 333 000, 088 333 000, 034 333 000.